And it looks like we're live. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to yet another hangout of mine. First of all, I have to apologize because like in the last time, I didn't really have time to do many of these. But now I do because my master thesis is finished. And I pretty much have nothing to do until it's corrected, which is like in maybe 3 to 6 weeks. So yeah, keep looking forward to more of those. First of all, hello to all my guests who are actually in the hangout. So Rumpus, hi, how are you?
Not too bad, recovering from a dislocated shoulder, so I'm still in a bit of pain, but getting better.
Okay, that's good to hear. Or bad, depending on how you look at it. Team Skeptic, hi.
Hey, how's it going? I'm just here to rub Rumpus's shoulder.
Thanks, team.
Hey, that's getting very disturbing very quickly.
Get another chat room.
Devolving quickly.
Sean, hi.
Hi. And Skeptic, his shoulder's higher up his back.
Oh. don't ruin my fucking
yeah, watch your webcam on.
And last but not least, Micro.
And I'm here to rub Skeptic's shoulder as he rubs the shoulder.
Okay.
That's great because my shoulder was getting tired from rubbing Rumpus's shoulder.
I know.
What have I started here, bloody hell?
Yeah.
Well,
Rumpus,
seemingly you have started some kind of shoulder rubbing conga line.
That's what I was gonna say. You started a shoulder rubbing line. Now
I wish I mentioned it now.
If we can make we can't really do a circle, but we can do a triangle here, and you could rub.
Only if the sides are 1, 1, and 1.
Hey, I got a question. Would we? That's a question for the second law of thermodynamics. How long could we go on with this shoulder rubbing before we all run out of energy?
It depends how much beer we're drinking.
And die first. By the way, before I forget, I actually invited somebody else to the hangout. I completely forgot about you once again. Amariah, how are you?
I'm all right.
Okay, so all of you guys already know about the subject of this hangout.
I don't.
Mr. Thrive and Survive.
I don't know.
Okay,
well,
so
I definitely know about it because I'm the one who pointed you to it.
Yeah, how many people of you have actually seen the video in question?
Oh, God.
I have not.
Not me.
I haven't.
I'm sorry to ruin your mental virginity here.
Okay, so apparently it's only me and Sean. It's a rather long video, 18 minutes and 16 seconds.
Now, to be fair, I didn't watch the entire video. I just watched the one point that he tried to bring up and just laughed so hard I had to point it out to you.
Is this a new Knife video or is this an older one?
It's a new one.
Okay,
yeah, so I actually watched the entire video twice.
Does it get worse after the point that I brought up?
Kinda.
Oh, no.
I mean, most of it is just like nonsensical ramblings.
It's any of the videos.
Yes, it is one of the moon ones.
Oh, God.
Well, time for everyone to order their chemo therapy then.
Hey, to be fair, the point that I brought up had nothing to do with the moon.
I make my own.
Show off.
Actually, I would just steal it from the lab.
Yeah.
To be fair, Gio, the point that I brought to your attention had nothing to do with the moon. So.
Yeah, that's correct. But he made some point about lunar eclipses or solar eclipses actually once again. And as you might imagine, they are rather idiotic. Hi, Tau City Alpha. Do you wish to join? By the way, your compilation from this morning was awesome as always.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
This isn't about shadows on the moon. This is some other problem he's got with the moon.
No, this has to do what we're actually bringing up has
mainly to do with what a shadow actually is, because Mr. Thrive and Survive still doesn't understand it.
No, he doesn't. Quite incredible, isn't it? I mean,
well, have you seen him? Have you seen how red he is? Of course, he doesn't understand what a shadow is.
I mean, all you need to do to sort himself out would be to go and get a light, go and get a ball, and put it in various positions around the light.
You lost him at light.
I mean, you could demonstrate this to an 7-year-old. Probably.
Rumpus. Yeah. Just watch and be amazed by the level of stupid he exhibits when it comes to light.
Okay.
Okay, so this is actually one reason why I wanted you in this hangout, Sean. It was either you or Sly, I actually can't remember. Didn't you once build a
that was Sly.
That was like, okay, then my bad. But whatever, the point still stands.
Sean, weren't you building some sort of model of something? I can't remember who it was about. You were going to build a half-size...
It's a 1/10,000th scale mount.
Helen.
Rainier and Helen.
Yeah, that was it. Right, that was it.
That's still up. That's still up and coming.
All right.
I'm still kind of holding out for a teacher at one of the local schools to say that they want their students to get involved, because I'd really like to get them involved. But if not, I'll just, if I have to take the last resort, I'll do it by myself. But I really like the students to get involved to actually put some practical geometry to use.
Well, that's great, Sean. You're engaging with the school about this. That's fantastic.
Well, I've already talked to the vice principal about it once. He said that he would have the teachers email me back, and so far they haven't. So not sure what's going on.
Right. Okay. Well, brilliant. Well done. Anyway.
Maybe they forgot it.
On to someone who should also go back to school.
Yeah, we actually have to start this because otherwise we'll be sitting here in 4 hours. So
I won't.
Yeah, you won't. Is everybody ready for this?
No.
God.
Okay, so take your face protecting oven gloves, put your monitor out of punching range, cut down all your knives to make them blunt.
No, I was just gonna say no sharp object within 30 feet.
Make sure you have your wills and all your business in order.
Oh, I guess I got the perfect avatar for this shit.
Yeah, sorry, Sly. I'm sorry you have to see this, but when you're watching one of my hangouts, you know what you're going to. So let's start this. 18 minutes and 16 seconds.
Hey, how is everybody? Beautiful day here in Phoenix. Just wanted to come on and give you all a little bit of insight to what happened at our meetup yesterday and a talk we had with a planetary astronomer. And I just want to make sure we're working here. I'm showing 0 people, but 2 thumbs up. Must be mine. I apologize for...
Was that a joke?
I guess.
I think it was some sort of half-assed approach to joke.
I'm laughing at how bad the joke was.
Well, yeah, I
not
figured.
at the joke itself.
If we stop on things like jokes, we're going to be here forever, aren't we?
Sorry.
Let's continue.
Neighborhood. Now there's 4 people there, according to this. Anyway, I apologize for the drums. Someone in the neighborhood is practicing. I'm sure it's probably a kid, teenager, whatever. Ah, the days of those. Richard Burke, hello. Thanks for letting me know you're here. That it's working.
Yeah.
Yeah, yesterday we had the Flat Earth meetup in Phoenix, and it was just a small group of us, but man, we had a great time. I thoroughly enjoyed being with everybody. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to collect people's phone numbers. If you want to receive text messages, now we got a helicopter.
It's a conspiracy.
Can't we speed through this a bit?
No, I cannot. I'm sorry.
All this background noise is a conspiracy, so he can't be heard.
NASA gave that kid a drum set.
and they made the helicopter fly by just then.
No, the helicopter was what airdropped their drum set in.
No, the helicopter is just hovering. The Earth is spinning underneath it.
Okay, so why would the government spend money on this when instead they can just hire a fake construction crew and use some jackhammers?
Because then it would be too obvious, if they all just show up once he starts recording.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
So yeah, they got to silence him somehow. So they're using a kid with a drum down the street and a helicopter flying by.
Remind me, does this guy believe in all sorts of other conspiracies, or is just Flat Earth is the only one? I presume he's got lots of others in his rucksack.
Well, I mean,
Chemtrail.
that
He's a
obviously
chemtrail.
implies a lot of stuff, right? He doesn't believe that the moon landing is a thing or that the moon is a thing.
Yes, I mean, all Flat Earthers presumably believe that half people in the world are lying to them, and almost every institution in their government, in their civic area, the things they come into contact with are all lying to them as well. So I mean, they've already got some sort of disorder of some sort, social disorder as well as the intellectual one. But I'm just
Well, I would comment on that, but it would definitely derail the topic of the video.
Well, I think I've seen videos with him talking about chemtrails, but other than the typical flat Earth stuff, I don't think I've ever seen him talk about anything else. Wouldn't surprise me, but I don't think I've seen him talk about it.
Okay.
We see a religious numbnut.
He's religious, I think, isn't he?
Yes. Yes, he
Yes.
is religious.
Because there actually are some flat earthers that seem to be completely irreligious.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, like the guy from Tau Ceti Alpha's video?
Riley,
He's
for
like,
example.
the guy from Tau Ceti Alpha's video that was missing all the
Riley
teeth.
is non-religious. He
said,
worships himself.
Yeah, that guy said, I'm an atheist, but I think God created the earth.
That
Makes no sense.
Riley does believe that was a creator for the universe, so if that makes him religious, then he's religious in that regard.
Yeah, but that's like a vague deistic kind of religion, right?
Yeah, it could be.
He's
yeah.
just as atheistic as every other religious person then.
Let's continue.
The next time we do a meetup, instead of having to worry about the app, which I don't even get notifications from, I'm thinking just if you're willing, just give me your phone number. I'll send you a text. Well, I won't send you a text any other time, but if we're going to have a flat earth meetup, I'll send you a text, let you know whatever. I'll set that up here shortly. So anyway, we went to Arizona State University where they had a open house astronomy night. And
Stop. Okay. Can you imagine that situation?
Just getting a text from MrThriveAndSurvive because you were dumb enough to give him your phone number?
Having a bunch of
No.
flirts in a university.
Yes.
Oh, well,
That would-
that's.
I feel bad for the people who put that astronomy night on.
Oh,
No, I wonder if like every time they say something in unison, the whole crowd goes, "Nuh-uh."
Well, can I spoil
Wait,
something here?
that required them to be coordinated to say it in unison.
Can I spoil something to be able to keep this on track?
Yep.
Okay. Yes, they went to an astronomy meetup. They did not try to flat smack it because if you're going to try to flat smack people, astronomers are not the ones to try to do it to.
Right.
So they didn't try to bring up flat Earth at this whole meetup thing. So,
Okay. Yeah,
Take care of that.
Can you all hear the drums? I can certainly hear.
I hear the drums echoing tonight.
Yeah, I was about to say I'm sure with the drums he's hearing now are just the sound echoing back inside of his head, just
Fuck
ringing
you for that joke, Gio.
ever.
Apparently, Team Skeptic, you didn't get the joke
No.
I made.
Oh no, I didn't then.
Africa?
The song?
Yeah.
Or the continent? Okay.
Yeah, the song. I forget about it.
No, I got it now.
Okay, you got it now. Okay.
But it's behind the phone that I'm recording on, so maybe not. At the end of the evening there, well, we spoke to quite a few people. We were interviewed by an ASU reporter. Thanks, Richard. Okay, so we got a little music, huh? I'll probably get a copyright strike, whatever song it is. You can
He's
hear
on a
me?
roll with his jokes, isn't he?
He's
Dumbass. He doesn't understand how copyright strikes work.
all comedy.
Yeah, I think he was joking, I think. But
He doesn't understand. Full stop.
okay. He's so funny that I'm literally playing Just Cause 4 right now.
Interesting. The wind's kind of crossed. Maybe I could do a little bit about that. Hold on just a second. I'll tell you what. Let me do this. I know what to do. Walk with me. Try to get that wind out of the way. Means I got to get to the other part of the building, which means I might not have the sun, but what the heck, right?
Alex, why can't we jump ahead of this crap?
No. The reason why we cannot jump is simple, because if we jump, they will just claim that we took them out of context.
Oh god.
We'll do that anyways.
Don't worry, Rumpus. It's just 16 more minutes of suffering.
I'm already in pain.
Compared to your life, that's nothing.
Yeah, but it's making my life worse.
Yeah, maybe. Sorry about that.
I agree with Rumpus.
We talked to a bunch of people. It was really hard to not crack up. It really was. We went to one of the tables, and they had asteroid rocks. They had moon rocks on the table. Looked just like any other magma rock that you'd find anywhere. And And
he's now also a geologist.
Yeah.
So let's see. We can add that to his career of being a weatherman. And what was the other one?
A professional idiot.
Hey, that's already mine.
Oh, no, wait. Does he actually claim this in this video, or was that earlier, Sean?
Which one?
About oceanography?
Isn't he a
I thought he did it in one of
navigator?
the sub videos.
Is he a navigator or something at one point?
No, he said he was a weatherman. I don't think he's ever said he was a navigator.
Okay.
Because he said he was in the Navy.
Yeah, he was on an aircraft carrier or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I'm not trying to comment on his Navy, what he did in the Navy, but I think the assertion he's made is that he was a weatherman in the Navy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was an AG, which means he just took the report to the actual weatherman.
The only aircraft
So he
ever
walks.
sunk.
So he walks down corridors.
Pretty much.
Right. He walks from one end of the boat to the other every few minutes. So, carrying a letter. Right.
Carrying a letter.
We saw on the moon with the Apollo mission. So anyway, the wind's kind of circling with me. Interesting.
No, it's wind. You're in an open field.
That's the second interesting he's described the wind as being interesting twice now.
Well, it's a conspiracy. The wind is now out to make sure he's silenced.
Yeah. Jeranism has got that whole movement saying the word interesting. Like it has a good connotation for them.
Oh, from his video. Right.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously he's recording this with his smartphone, so what type of quality do you expect?
At least he's in landscape mode. Shit.
Well, yeah, I'll give him that.
Yeah, it's like
That's a
1 out of
first.
15 points.
That's a first for a flat earther right there. That's like getting points on your SATs just for spelling your name right. I give them one less idiot ding every time they put their phone in landscape. So if you're a flat earther and you're listening to this, film in landscape mode. That's one less ding you get when I debunk your crap video.
Well, I'm going to take away that one ding and make it into a half ding because he's only a half a step away from being nature hacker. He just needs to remove the shirt and go to portrait mode, and he's nature hacker.
Remember, Sean, I actually had a hangout with Nature Hacker once.
Yep. About turning rust and poop into gold or something.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Okay, let's continue. 15 more minutes.
Yeah, let's get through this.
You can see this right here. This is the whole area here is under construction, but this might provide me a little bit of a leeway from the wind.
Leeway.
I don't even feel the wind now. So let me see if I can set my camera down.
Oh, look, this is a weatherman. He doesn't understand lee. He should have said, "I'm to the lee of the things." Leeway is something else completely. Oh.
Okay, so lee, for the people that don't know, a lee in relation to when talking
downwind,
about
basically downwind.
Downwind from whatever obstacle you're standing in front of or behind.
So he just basically said he's going to get some downwind from the wind.
That just sounds dirty.
Well, no, he didn't. He
I'm
said
not sure what
leeway.
it's implying, but
He
it
said
sounds
leeway.
dirty.
He said leeway, so he didn't in fact say that at all.
Or does he maybe mispronounce lie?
Let's see how deep of a thinker he really is.
Oh, God. Let's
You
continue.
got GeoGebra set up, right?
I got what?
GeoGebra.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, you're going to need that here in a bit.
I know.
Oh, he's ready.
Have to hold it the whole time. So, yeah, it was kind of funny. We were interviewed by a bunch of people. We asked some questions of people. The idea was not to have a gotcha moment with anything. In fact, Mike Ball is doing an experiment, and he wanted to get an astronomer on record with how eclipses work and how you would see it on the Earth. What we're going to do is, I can't go past this wall. Anyway, I'm in the shade.
Hey, hold on. I want you to pause that for a second because we actually have some educated professionals here, right? Could you imagine being an astronomer, right? And you've gone to school for like 6 to 8 years to completely understand your field of study. And you have this jackass walk in with like 5 other jackasses, right? and they go in and they're like, "Huh? Can you explain how an eclipse works?" And
well, considering that I pretty much have my masters in chemistry now and have talked to Nature Hacker, yeah, I know how those people would feel.
Absolutely enraged.
Okay, you do know that like creationists are a thing.
Yeah,
anti-vaxxers are a thing. Like I know how that feels.
I'm so sorry. You're right. You probably suffer the most of us, and you also have to suffer because creationists are a thing.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it just takes me back to the time when he put out that dumbass video. I'll debate anybody with, you need to have a PhD, and they would laugh at you. They would laugh you out of any room they put you in. You could bring up 1,000 points, and he would only have to bring up one.
Did he ever actually do that debate? Because he blocked me, he blocked Sly, and he blocked Geo, I think, and he wouldn't debate anybody.
He had a heart attack right around that time.
Oh, did he? Oh, right. But that was only about a year ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a little less than a year ago. But he did it. He said he had a heart attack. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt on that one. But it doesn't matter. I mean, the PhD or not, you can't even out debate Red's rhetoric, and he doesn't have a fucking PhD. You know what I'm saying? Go get past him first. As far as
you know.
Yeah, as far as I know. Get past him first. And then you'll go to the next level.
It's Dunning-Kruger, isn't it? Basically, he's so ignorant. He doesn't know what he doesn't know, and therefore he doesn't realize what a low piece of detritus he is in comparison to people who've actually had an education and bothered, or even people on here who've done some research. He doesn't research. He's a piece of detritus in comparison. He doesn't know what he doesn't know.
Yeah, the peak of Mount Stupid, right there, personified on the screen in the Dunning-Kruger effect. They have something called the peak of Mount Stupid, and this should be the picture next to the Wikipedia entry right here on screen.
And the reason you have to have pictures on there is because the people you'll be linking that to probably can't read.
Right. But they know everything about science, so density, buoyancy, and fucking.
They know a lot about density.
Weather.
I'm honest about it. I don't know shit about it.
It's funny, a flat earther, if you take a flat earther's skull, the density of their skull is like 10 times the density of a normal person's skull, but the entire density of the head as a whole is still way less denser than helium. It's because they have a fucking vacuum on the inside.
It's weird that he doesn't get crushed into a black hole.
It's a very interesting material that should definitely be studied further.
Interesting.
Thank you. Someone got it.
I did. That was very good.
Okay.
Wait a second. There we go.
The best I can do. I can lean up against this wall, got a little bit of light, and hopefully not too much wind. Wow, I could have just walked straight to this.
Okay. Thank you, everybody, for acknowledging that the last 4 minutes of this video and probably the last 25 minutes of our lives were a complete waste.
No. Hold on. We did find out that he doesn't know that he now thinks he's also qualified to do geology.
I was gonna say he's not really qualified to do navigation if he had to walk all the way around when he could have just went straight to the little place he's at now. He just said it himself. I could have just came straight here.
Interesting.
Let's talk about your navigation skills there, Mr. Thrive and Survive.
Oh dear.
Thank you, Richard. Good to know what's perfect now. So, yeah, we asked some questions of a bunch of people. We were trying to educate some people. I couldn't resist. There was a person there. I can't remember exactly what it was. Not exactly a physics student, but a related field. And they were demonstrating the Einsteinian gravity well. And I just couldn't resist. So I walked over, and so I said, in the Newtonian gravity, how is it an object starts moving in the first place? And he.
Okay.
We've got to guess what the answer was.
Yeah, is this who gets the best answer to this? I mean, are we all going to give an answer and then we have to vote who's the most intelligent?
No, I think we're all pretty much on the same page. We'll let you do it, Team Skeptic. You've actually covered this.
Well, actually, to start, there is nothing that is of zero motion. So that's the first thing you need to understand, is that everything is in motion. The second thing you have to understand is that when mass is placed into space-time, it displaces the space-time, meaning that from a logical point of view, you would see.
But remember this. He asked about, despite the fact that the student was demonstrating the theory of relativity and space-time, the person he asked was Newtonian.
Well, he's allowed to ask, but he's allowed to ask, how does this match up with Newtonian gravity? I thought that's what this is building up.
Yeah, I mean, that's what his question is. In Newtonian gravity, why would something start moving anyway? And the answer is simple.
It's subjected to a force.
There's a force there, therefore there's an acceleration.
We have a formula.
But that's Newtonian. That's the Newtonian look. He's talking about gravity wells, which is Einsteinian general relativity.
No. He specifically asked about Newtonian gravity.
No, you can have gravity wells in just using Newtonian. If you just use simple Newtonian things, you end up with a gravity well. The question is, it's only in 3D space. Whereas, of course, the whole point about the Einstein thing is in 4D space, and that's obviously a big difference.
Yes, that is the actual difference. That's why we have time dilation.
Yeah.
Which is not accounted for by Newtonian gravity.
Indeed.
But I see what you're saying. Yeah. The physicist or physics student, the person who was educated, was trying to explain general relativity to him, and he came back with why, according to Newton's laws, why does it begin accelerating towards the Earth? Right.
Well, I don't know. Sorry, have you got that from what he's just said, or do you know what he's about?
Yeah, no. I'm saying that's what he said. Is that what y'all are telling me? That's what he said?
Yes, that's what he's asking the physics student. Okay. Yeah, the answer is obviously as soon as you have an acceleration, which is what gravity does, according to the law.
I mean, obviously, Newton's formula was derived from experience. This is what we see happens, and the Cavendish experiment confirms from experiments, from observations, we've determined this is the law of gravity. This describes it. So you can't derive this. This is something that you just find out from experiment, and then obviously you determine a formula, as Newton did, to describe what happens in the real world.
Let's continue.
Yeah.
Or do you want to say something?
No, I was just going to touch on what he said, and then you do something like the Cavendish experiment to verify that what you said was going to happen. I mean, it does every time.
Because the key thing about
it doesn't.
Yeah, because the key thing about obviously the Cavendish experiment, Newton couldn't work out what G was. He just knew the ratios, and then obviously Cavendish came along and actually worked out that rather important constant in that universal law of gravitation that Newton derived.
And that's why Newton's gravitation. Okay, so Newton made the observation is the m1 m2 over r squared. He noticed that there was
he knew there was a constant.
Yeah. So he just knew that the relationship involved only the masses and the radius. G's a constant, so we don't have to worry about G. G is just how we take that ratio, how we take that observation, and how we get a real world value from that observation. So you take this ratio and you multiply it by the constant of G, and you'll end up getting the force that will be present. And you can apply that to any two bodies of mass throughout the universe. It doesn't matter. Galaxies to stars to planets to moons, it doesn't matter. Any two objects, as long as you know their mass and you know their distance from each other, with the gravitational constant, you can work out the force of attraction between them.
And the thing, obviously, Newton was able to do, because things like the G cancels out, he was able to work out, justify Kepler's laws, which gives you ratios of things. But obviously, he couldn't measure the mass of the Earth at that time. He didn't know, he hadn't done the Cavendish experiment, so he couldn't work out exactly how much force mass attracts max. And because he didn't know the mass of the Earth or any of the planets or the sun or anything, he couldn't. Oh God, phone. Sorry.
And can you maybe mute yourself when you're talking? Oh, there we go. Thank you very much, Rumpus.
And that is what the Cavendish experiment does, is it starts to extract the value of G, because then you'll get M1, M2, and R, and then you can use observations to get the F, and then you can turn around and work the math backwards to get your gravitational constant, big G. And that's how we know every time we do this experiment, we can alter the size of the balls, whatever. And sure enough, we can calculate exactly how much oscillation is in that smaller ball.
Okay. Actually, just a warning, the really stupid stuff is coming on soon.
Yes.
We went into where the Earth is moving at so many thousands of miles per hour. And I was like, well, your own science says that the Earth is still. And then, you got the deer caught in the headlights look. And
okay, so how do you think Mr. Thrive and Survive is going to justify his claim that he's just made that, quote, our own science shows that the Earth is still, end quote?
I can't answer because I already know it.
Yeah, obviously, Sean, you're not allowed to answer this for the reason you just mentioned.
Well, I don't know how he's going to explain it. I know why what he said was wrong, but I don't know how he's going to justify it.
Michael, do you guys have any
I have
ideas?
no idea.
No clue.
Okay. Then prepare for this.
Oh, no.
he was like, what are you talking about? I said, well, you're getting a degree here, whatever. And you haven't heard of Michelson Morley, Michelson Gale, Sagnac, Aries Failure. Have you heard of any of them? No. And there was two others there. And one guy who was the authority, he was like, no, I never heard of that. I said, well, why don't you look it up? I said, this is peer-reviewed mainstream science. Everybody's always saying, why don't you submit it for peer review? Yeah, drums in the background. Can't help it. Somebody in the neighborhood's practicing.
Okay, so he's misquoting again Aries Failure and the Michelson-Morley experiments.
Yeah. There's reasons that these experiments aren't taught because what we got from the experiment was relativity. If you want to learn the history of relativity, then you're going to be taught the Michelson-Morley experiment. But if you aren't in a position to learn about the history of how we came to the theories of relativity, then the Michelson-Morley experiment means nothing. It's a failed experiment. You shouldn't teach this in schools. Why would you? There is no ether.
Actually, you do. And it's important to understand why. Because the prevailing hypothesis back then, the ether hypothesis, was what was disproved with the Michelson-Morley experiment.
Yeah. That's why it's the most failed experiment in history. What I'm saying is the science is
one of the most important failed experiments in history. Yes.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is like they don't preach it. They don't teach the concepts of the ether concepts in college because ether has been proven to not be non-existent.
There's some links in the side chat for you there, Gio, when we get onto the whole shadows thing from Sly Sparkane.
Is it his?
It's three of his videos actually dealing with that topic specifically.
There we go. That's the one I was searching for. Thank you very much, Sly. Let's continue. What the fuck did just happen?
That was me accidentally dropping my phone.
Okay. I was going to say, you definitely didn't fall. It wasn't squishy enough.
I thought, but it sounded like maybe you have had an artery burst in your brain. You just collapsed.
I mean, that was why I dropped the phone.
Oh, okay. On the other hand, you're 100% head anyway.
No, I'm not. There's a shaft too.
Oh God, no. Let's continue.
Wow.
They don't live next door. In fact, they're about a block away. So imagine how loud it is at the house.
Yes, we are familiar with the concept of drums.
They were just stunned. They had no idea. And I asked them about the, how can we see all these craters straight up and down when Newtonian gravity has, all these swinging back and forth and things like that. And they're like, well, we do see some that come in sideways. And then they're...
Yeah, because fluid dynamics is hard. So,
somewhat. What is he saying? Somewhat comes in sideways?
He's saying that why are the craters on the moon circular when we expect most impacting objects actually to come in an angle? And the answer is fluid dynamics is harder than this guy thinks.
Yeah. Plus,
wait. Are you saying
the kinetic energy involved causes the fucking meteorite or whatever that's hitting the moon's surface to fucking explode? It doesn't just like stretch out across the surface like you would think.
It's not like throwing a stone through sand.
Yeah, it's more like throwing a snowball against a garage door at an angle. The snowball, wherever it hits, is going to make a circular imprint on the garage door, because the kinetic energy of the snowball, that when it hits the wall, that entire amount of energy is transmitted outward to the snowball, and the snowball explodes.
Yes, obviously. I mean, there are a few craters on the moon that actually are very elongated.
Yeah, because they came in at relatively slow speeds at an angle.
Not only at relatively small speeds, but also at very, very shallow angles.
Yeah.
I was going to say, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't
about being 10 degrees or lower?
I was just about to ask that. I thought I heard that somewhere. I just want to be corrected if I was wrong. It was a 10-degree incline before it'll actually make a gouge instead of an explosion.
Yeah.
I actually had a question as well. Does it like shit heat up when something impacts or something like that?
Yep.
Well, to explain it, probably liquefying.
Well, not only liquefying, but the impact will probably vaporize to large portions instantly.
Yeah, vaporization is a much more accurate term.
Fair enough. I'm not a smart person.
Yeah, like kinetic energy, half mv squared has got to be converted into something when it comes to a stop.
Yeah,
lots and lots of heat.
The important part here is the v squared.
Yeah.
But at least I do not claim to be
so what you're saying is, if I want to be hotter, I just have to jump up and down a lot.
Yes, you would. And don't forget, anything that's moving.
I don't think Rumpus got the. Never mind.
Definitely didn't.
No, I didn't quite get that. Sorry. No,
it's a joke about jiggling boobs.
Okay, right.
It wasn't even that. But fuck it.
I thought it was sex, but I thought it was sex, wasn't it, Micro?
It was some kind of dirty joke. Move on.
You can't blame the audience. If you delivered it wrong, you can't blame us.
No, I didn't, but there's no reason to harbor on about it.
Because I didn't think it was funny either. But I didn't get it, so.
Okay, let's go.
The explanation was, well, when it hits the atmosphere, like on the Earth, it'll make it tend to come straight down. It's like, well, there's no atmosphere on the moon. And then I had to back up because now they're saying there is atmosphere, right? Anyway.
Stop.
Hey,
okay.
Hey, whoa.
About the moon being inside Earth's atmosphere nonsense. Actually read the fucking paper. That's all I gotta say about it.
Yeah.
Like the pressure involved that you can still measure on the surface of the moon, it's like 10 to the minus 14 psi or some shit.
Well, here's the thing about flat earthers. The flat earther mantra is TLDR.
Yeah, Gio, you deal with vacuums, don't you?
That's the only formula I know.
What?
You have to deal with vacuums occasionally, don't you?
Yeah, but not with vacuums that are that clean.
Exactly.
I usually deal with vacuums at around 10 to the minus 4, 10 to the minus 5 bars, something like that.
In other words, that's my point. You have in the lab things vacuums, and these atmosphere, as it's so called, around the moon is much more vacuous than your.
Yes, I don't deal with UA ultra high vacuum systems. That's something that the physical chemists do. I pretty much only use the vacuum for distillation and for drying purposes.
Right.
And it's usually 10 to the minus 3 millibars, so 10 to the minus 5, 10 to the minus 6 bars.
I would like to point out that that he's an idiot because he did just say that almost all asteroids and meteors come straight down, which is completely false. In fact, I can't remember ever seeing a meteor or comet or anything coming straight down at the Earth.
I would like to point out one thing.
Yeah.
If I can point out one thing, Crow 777 actually did a video where he records the moon a lot because he's looking for his lunar wave. But he actually captured a shallow angle impact where it actually skipped across the surface of the moon. And when he looked again, all of those craters were circular.
Really?
Yes. It actually skimmed across like 4 impacts.
He captured a moon impact.
Yeah.
Wow. Bloody hell.
Yeah, there was.
Well, that's what happens when you keep filming the moon.
There was one impact event during the last solar eclipse.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've actually heard about that.
And also, they always come straight down. Of course, the most notable, most famous example is that one in Russia 5 years ago, or whatever.
Yeah,
2013. Yeah, Chelyabinsk.
Yeah.
I want to point out that actually most of the meteorites that don't burn up, well, I guess that's why the meteorites that don't burn, like that actually get to the ground, do end up falling straight down at the end. They stop and then fall. They're at free fall speed unless they're above a certain size.
Thanks for ruining my breakfast.
Do you guys know the video of that guy who was parachuting and was almost hit by a meteorite?
Oh, I want to see that shit.
Yeah, there's some guy hanging on a parachute, and like 10 meters or so beside of him, there's actually a stone falling beside him.
Show it.
Like that's oh dear, I gotta find this video first.
Yes.
I still can't believe this guy caught an asteroid actually hitting the moon. Who's this guy did this?
It was like 2 or 3 years ago.
Okay, well, bloody hell.
But yeah, he used to spend like literally every night that he had access to seeing the moon, he would have his telescope train on it the entire night.
Rumpus, are you
this
familiar
is the
with
guy that captures the lunar waves as airplanes are flying by.
Bro, sorry, Skeptic, you saying something?
Oh, I was gonna ask you if you were familiar with the lunar wave, but Sean covered it.
No, I'm not familiar with it. No.
Yeah, he'd film for like 8 to 12 hours every night.
Okay, so let me share my screen here. Okay, so this is the video. I'm just gonna play a few seconds. So this guy opens his parachute.
Let's click on this.
Did you see it?
Sorry,
I probably have to share it to everyone.
Oh fuck! I'm sorry.
Yeah, we didn't click on your thing. So
it was like 2 or 3 frames back for us.
Yeah, I know it's only a few frames. I tried to catch that.
Circle.
You see it?
Yeah.
Oh wow!
I mean, this could be a piece of debris or something, but the speed at which it falls, right?
But it's not
something that just recently opened together.
It's not something out of an air. It's not one of those ice. What is it? Those blue ice things, is it?
No.
What's sucking on your head?
Like how high is the probability for something like this to happen?
Use the period and comma keys to go forward and back one frame at a time.
Well, at least 1 in 7 billion, I guess.
I mean, take a look at it. That's a fucking stone, isn't it?
That is like God. But why? I wonder why it's not having any heat on it.
Because it's very low in the atmosphere. At this point it's just free falling.
I mean, you can take a look at the clouds on the right. The cloud base is usually at around 2 kilometers or something. So when it comes to the actual altitude of the atmosphere, this thing is almost pretty much on the ground already.
That's an amazing find. I wonder who actually caught that on camera and saw it and was like, "Hey, we caught something." Because
they probably just really watched the footage and saw, "Wait, there's something there," and went through it.
I will try to look for that.
I mean, take a look at this. How fucking insane is that? Isn't it cool? I mean, this is awesome. a meteorite, or this is a murder attempt.
Or both.
Or both. Well, no.
Oh, I guess the universe hates your ass then really bad.
Wow, I mean, there have been people directly hit by meteors.
Well, a couple of people. It's actually surprisingly low.
Yeah, I was going to say the only official thing I know about meteors striking people is one that actually bounced off of something in the house and then it landed on the lady's leg. That's the only one I know of a lot of actual direct impact.
Counts as a damage, right?
And I've seen cars have been destroyed by meteorites. So there have been a couple of cars I think have got huge dents.
Yes, that's because cars are there are a lot more cars and they're a lot bigger.
Yeah. But it still counts as an interaction with a meteorite.
Apparently, the story we were just showing was apparently debunked.
Oh. Damn it!
Wait a second.
Everybody wants to piss on our Cheerios today.
Apparently, the most likely scenario is that the skydiver accidentally packed a pebble into his parachute.
Well, that's one big ass pebble then.
Well, it was like within a couple seconds of him opening his chute that it fell. So yeah, makes more sense than a meteor just being caught on film, being slow enough to where it could be caught on like 9 frames.
Okay, I stand corrected on that one.
Oh well, it's a good story.
Yeah, but
I'm gonna tell
we don't work in good stories here. We work in truth.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm gonna lie to my kid and just say it's a meteor.
No.
Don't do that.
Dropped by Santa Claus and reindeer.
Yeah, exactly. He still believes in Santa Claus.
That's because he was hit on the head with a meteor.
His mama fed him lead.
Anyways, more garbage.
Yeah, let's continue.
Right. And so what about the inside out craters? You know, it's like inverted nipples. And the guy said, well, it's like, you know, you drop a something in water, drop a stone in water, and you'll see the drop come out. I was like, well, the moon isn't water. So they just have these funny little...
Yeah, exactly. The moon isn't water. Therefore, ask a geologist to actually know what the fuck he's talking about.
Is the guy on screen injured? Mentally, yes.
Very.
Yes, but the point is when you hit it really hard, it acts like a fluid. I mean, Jesus Christ, that's the whole...
You are going to get a fluid because some of the moon surface is going to be melted.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to cause
the question that I asked earlier.
Yeah, it's going to make a... And I mean, even rock, even the Earth's crust actually behaves a bit like a fluid. It actually, some of the crucial bits of geology was discovering when they did talk about plate tectonics wasn't, in fact, even rock over reasonable period of time does in fact behave a bit like a fluid. It will actually flow.
Well, yeah, it has
not only will it flow, but it can only it also turns kind of into a plastic, right? It doesn't like burst or crack when it's under high pressure from all sides, which is why you get those awesome folding formations in like mountain ranges, where one plate of the Earth's crust is folding over another and like squeezing them together.
Yeah.
So yeah, fluid dynamics is hard.
And apparently, it's very important. There's a lot of water around as well. The fact that we have apparently to do all these sorts of flowing, a little bit of water is required apparently as well to help it all along.
Maybe, I don't know.
I think.
Hold on a second. Geist View, are you back in the States or are you still down in Antarctica land? He says he's on a cell phone. Might be able to come on.
I once saw like this experiment thing going on where they like pumped air into sand. Like
yeah,
like that should start to behave like water, like liquid.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Also, quicksand is also a thing, right? If you have a mixture of a certain a certain ratio between sand and water, you will get a behavior like as if it was a thicker fluid.
Gio, would you mind if I added Geist View to this? Because he's been in Antarctica for a year.
Sure, go ahead.
I would wager like the crust of the Earth would behave the same way if you like have enough force just disturbing it.
Do you have Geist View's contact information?
I have him on Messenger. I can't find him in Hangouts anymore.
Okay, then I'll just post the Hangout link in here, and you can just forward it to him.
And I'd like to point out
that I'm gonna head out for today.
Okay, thank you very much for joining, Micro.
Yeah, see you.
Bye. See you.
Let's play some Apex, Micro.
Oh, and Micro has apparently been replaced by Jared. Hello, Jared.
Afternoon, evening, everyone.
Hey, Jared.
But yeah, Gio, like you were saying, it's that the way those rocks fold is fluid dynamics. Fluid dynamics is hard. All you flat earthers that try to use any kind of explanation that includes a word dynamic, a scientific explanation that includes that word, you probably don't know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So you should probably just stop at that point and go save face and just don't even argue the point unless you know exactly what you're talking about.
Well, let's be a little more fair. If they use any word in trying to explain anything, they're wrong.
Yeah, that's my position. Yeah, they don't know that. If they're a flat earther, therefore they don't know what they're talking about. Full stop. No need to qualify. You don't need to worry about what subject it is they're discussing. You don't know anything about it.
If you're a flat earther, space, comma.
Oh God. Okay, let's continue.
excuses and things like that, that they apply, oranges to apples and expect it to work. But the last guy, and I recorded this. You'll probably eventually see it when we do this experiment. Like I said, it wasn't a gotcha thing. And the guy started with a penumbra. He started drawing a penumbra. And I was literally biting my lip to keep from cracking up because I didn't want them to be embarrassed or upset. That was not the reason for doing this. And then it just got worse. But long story short,
he's a penumbra denier, is he? Is he a penumbra denier then? I mean, they drew a penumbra, so that's even denies that. Is my position?
My question is, how is the umbra penumbra even possible with the moon and the sun being at the same height in the sky?
You will never get an answer for that question.
So the same size and the same height, they should be completely blocking each other out. And well, there's so many different problems with that, first off, because if you're off to the side, you wouldn't even see an eclipse. You would see the sun on top of the moon, not in front of the moon. But aside from that, the umbra penumbra ratio would be it would be so much different. It would be so much closer to almost perfectly the same distance, because the shadow or the size of the two objects covering them would be right next to each other and the same size.
Yeah, you'd have thought if you were really clever, and if you had some means of measuring the penumbra and umbra positions, you could work out, if you knew the distance to the moon, you should be able to work out the distance to the sun. But presumably,
yes,
in years gone by, presumably they didn't have quite that detailed information, not being able to communicate. One of the, oh look, here's the total eclipse. Where's the penumbra for you, mate? So presumably they didn't have the possibility of making such detailed measurements in times gone by. But then again, they just worked out the distance to the sun in 1671 with old Cassini, didn't they? So perhaps they didn't need to bother with that.
No, I think wasn't it Newton
that did what?
That worked out distance to the sun?
No, who predicted the path of the next solar eclipse?
I'm just going to point out something that's been said in the chat. We're 7 minutes into the video, and the hangout's already been going for an hour.
Yeah, yeah, we need to get a shift on, don't we?
So what I hear is we're at 50% movie night level. Okay.
I'm just saying, moving on.
Yeah,
it would be a lot easier if he wasn't so wrong all the time.
Thought about before. Like I said, Michael was talking to him most of the time, and at the end, I started talking to him about the umbra penumbra and how that's really not possible. That it's at 93 million miles.
He's a penumbra denier.
Okay, Rumpus. The point that he's trying to make here. You have been in some of the hangouts where we were dealing with him. He actually thinks that the moon cannot be bigger than 70 miles because the umbra of the Great American Eclipse was about 70 miles in diameter. Yes. And he doesn't understand that the umbra of an object can actually be smaller than the object, provided that the light source is bigger than the object.
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, of course, that's right. That's his position. That's right. That's right. He's even drawn diagrams, hasn't he? Where he doesn't understand how this can happen because he doesn't understand. Because he keeps this right. I think he was the guy who put a light in a garage or something. He said, "Look, the shadow is always bigger than the object," and not because he hadn't thought of having a light source, as you say, bigger than the object. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I remember now. Okay.
Yeah, he completely doesn't understand the relevance of actually having the right scale. In this case, that the light producing object, the light source, is bigger than the object that's casting the shadow.
Yeah, so hopefully the guy who corrected it then explained why this was in this, when he presumably asked this question, they got told the right answer, hopefully.
Oops. Wrong keyword. Let's continue.
Well, actually, I'm going to share something here because it's absolutely cool and I love him.
You want to share your screen?
Yeah, here in a second.
Okay, you're presented to everybody.
Pull it aside.
Well, apparently Ranty's in the side chat. Ranty, here's an offer. If you want to join, I would kick out everybody else and we would have a talk.
Okay, what we got here is a nice my first 4K video I've ever had on my channel, of course, of Himawari 8 during a solar eclipse that happened on that side of the world. And we're going to deal with the whole umbra penumbra thing real quick because the shadow Now, keep in mind, the moon's supposed to be a quarter the size of the Earth?
Yeah, the ratio of diameter between the Earth and the moon is approximately 3.7.
Yeah. We have the umbra. It's deep in here. I mean, it's still dark here, but the umbra is actually very, very small in this picture. But the shadow encompasses most of the Earth because of the penumbra. I love this video.
Contrast on my monitors is shit. I hardly can see anything.
Yeah, I've never seen that video before. That's
I've actually. Oh, there we go. All right, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's quite nice.
So yes, Mr. Thrive and Survive. Are you ready, skeptic? You're a fucking idiot.
Ding.
I was ready.
Okay, so going back to the video.
.96 degrees, you know, basically parallel rays hitting the Earth. And then he goes into all this convoluted stuff I never even heard before. And it's like, well, you know, if the sun is a ball, okay, so it's coming off at different angles. And it was like, duh, it just dawned on me. It was like, yeah, think about that. You know, what they want to say is, oh, the sun is so much bigger, so all those rays come in and make things smaller. You know, the thing with the moon shadow being smaller. And he tried the penumbra, you know, the umbra-penumbra thing. Well, there's also a shadow on the penumbra, which there's not.
Stop. So apparently he doesn't understand again what the penumbra is. It means that from the person in the penumbra, a part of the light-producing object, a part of the light source is actually covered by the object casting the shadow, while the rest of the object, in this case the sun, is still visible.
Right. It's a partial shadow, basically.
Exactly. But that's literally what the Latin word penumbra means. It means half shadow or partial shadow.
I would like to point something out too here that he said that's actually true, that a lot of people get a misunderstanding about this. Rays that come into the Earth are not parallel. They appear parallel. They are almost parallel because it is a circle. So it's radiating out in all directions. If you were to take any 2 points on the circle and extend them out, they'll eventually get further and further apart from each other. And this works with any 2 points on that circle. Even if you take 2 points right next to each other on the surface, the further you get away, the further they get apart.
Not to cut you off, skeptic, but we're actually going to address this exact point here in a couple minutes.
Okay, well then let's just get to that point then. My bad, I haven't seen the video. So
yeah, warning, it's gonna get really stupid when he's talking about that topic.
I was in the penumbra in the August 2017 eclipse. There was no shadow. Absolutely.
Did he just say, I was in the penumbra of the 2017 eclipse, there was no shadow?
Well, presumably he means that it was predicted to be the penumbra, and he said he couldn't see it. Presumably.
Hold on. He says that there was no shadow, but yet when we all went down to Tennessee to my aunt's house to actually be in the umbra of the shadow of the eclipse, we actually have footage of the entire thing from before it started until just after totality. And it gets progressively darker because the penumbra continuously gets darker as it progresses.
And you bastards got Earthshine.
Yes. So for you to say that there is no shadow in the penumbra, you're full of shit. We actually watched it increase. It got increasingly darker as the eclipse progressed, which means we were getting into a darker and darker part of the penumbra until we were actually in totality.
It's actually very difficult to spot the penumbra because your eyes adjust. As it gets slightly less light, your eyes open up, and it's very difficult to tell. Actually, there's a difference. When I was in the total eclipse out in the UK, got about 10 years ago, the thing you notice most actually is it gets colder rather than darker.
I'll tell you what I'm going to do, Rumpus. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to get some of the footage that was like 2 hours long. And if it doesn't show any faces on it, I'll be glad to put it on my channel, not time-lapse. And you can skip around and watch it as the eclipse gets closer and closer. It gets darker and darker. I'll be happy to do that for Mr. Lion Connive here. Because, yes, there is evidence that we are falling into a darker and darker shadow gradually.
But it's not obvious, is it, Sean? It's very subtle.
It is very subtle because it takes so long to do.
Yeah.
Well, Rumpus, did you see the last eclipse here in Europe in 2015?
No, I didn't see that one.
Yeah, so where I live, we got about like 30% coverage of the sun, so not much. But you really didn't notice it at this point, even though obviously we had those sun watching glasses thingies. You really don't notice it until it's actually rather late, because as you say, your eyes actually adapt rather quickly. The only thing that really showed us that there was an eclipse going on was because the output of the solar cells went down by a few gigawatts nationwide.
Yeah, and it gets colder. That's the thing I noticed. You don't, it was very warm, and then it gets a lot colder, but it doesn't seem to get any darker. So so what he's basically saying is everybody who ever knows anything about eclipse experiences, it's very difficult to spot the penumbra. Yeah. Well,
did I ever tell you guys the story about how I actually missed the totality phase of the 1999 eclipse?
I've actually seen that one.
No, here's how subtle it is. Sorry, Gio, but I'm going to touch on Rump at this point. This is how subtle it is, because the last eclipse I was actually able to see was actually an annular when I was a kid. This was the first actual total eclipse I was ever able to actually be hands-on with and understand what was going on. About every 20 minutes to 40 minutes or so, we would realize, holy crap, it just got darker. And it actually wasn't a sudden thing. It's just we noticed that there was a definite difference in how much light we were getting. And it wasn't like, oh, look, it's getting darker. It's getting darker. That didn't happen until like the last couple seconds. But every 20 minutes or so, we were like, man, it's getting dark. And it just kept getting darker and darker very slowly. And like I said, if I can get that footage from Red from one of his cameras that was actually watching the sheet when we got the actual shadow bands.
The ground waves.
I'm going to get that footage, the entirety of it, not just the shadow bands.
Have you got auto exposure? Have you got the exposure on auto, or did you keep it fixed?
No, it was fixed.
Oh, brilliant! Well done. Well done, Sean. Well done, Sean.
Ruin the experience of it getting darker.
Well, and having it fixed is actually what was crucial for us to actually pick up the ground wave.
Yeah, because you have to have the exposure set basically to normal sunlight.
Okay, so just like a 2-minute story about how I missed the last eclipse, the last total eclipse here. So when I was 5 or 6, 5 or 6, back in 1999, I actually don't remember the time of the year it was, probably in the summer. There was a total solar eclipse that pretty much hit the area where I live. Now, where I live is actually slightly outside, or was slightly outside the totality zone. So my parents, me and my back then pretty young brother, we packed our stuff and drove about 2 hours to the south, because the center of the Umbra would hit a town called Augsburg. And that was where we're heading. Now, we had perfect weather the entire day, but like 20 minutes before we hit the zone of totality, a fucking thunderstorm came out of nowhere and stayed until the totality phase was over.
Oof.
Yes, I know.
Well, during the Great American one, there were people in other parts of the country who experienced similar issues where just as they were getting in close to the totality phase, they had weather roll in. And that was actually something we were concerned about in Tennessee, because how quickly can those clouds pop up and screw everything over, Sean?
Oh, because of the sharp ridge lines that we have right there in ozone, it could be instantaneous. Just a slight pressure difference or a temperature difference moving in can just cause immediate overcast skies. What's funny about our trip down there is we had perfectly clear skies, and not even 30 miles away, one cloud popped up over basically the Walmart parking lot in Crossville, and they missed the eclipse just as it was starting because one cloud just appeared right in their way, and it was a small cloud. It sucked for them.
So, question. Apparently, Geistq wants to join. I've had contact with him now on Google Hangouts, but he cannot because apparently someone of you has him blocked.
Who's got Geist blocked?
What?
I don't know.
I mean, I'll go check mine right now and make sure that one of my mods didn't block him.
Well,
that wouldn't affect you.
Can you link his profile? I'll check as well.
Oh my God, who's got Geist blocked?
Where can you see that in the community part of the Creator Studio?
No, this is a Google Hangouts block if somebody's got them blocked.
Oh, no, I don't. I've never blocked anybody on Google Hangouts. So.
Where do I see my damn block list? Because I know I don't got them blocked.
I'm reasonably sure I have.
How do you even check that shit anyway?
I've only blocked about 4 people ever, I think.
Blocked people. I have that one.
Yeah, I just went through mine. I don't have
a Google user because they deleted the account, and that was somebody who made the fake George Natty account.
Okay, someone.
Yeah, I don't have them blocked.
How do you check that shit?
Looks like it's not me.
Internal chat to access your block list, and not me.
How do you check that shit?
No blocked users.
So in the internal chat, I put a link that goes straight to your account to your Google block list.
Okay,
yeah, I'm good. I'm good on mine.
Now the thing is, if it gave him an error that you could not connect, when I reconnected from the PC off the phone, I had to give it a second and try opening from the actual green bar, not the camera icon in Google Hangouts.
Yeah, I was gonna say I had that problem a lot too. By whenever Minicam would not be running and it was looking for Minicam, it would not even be able to pull up a camera. So there might be a possibility that whatever device you're looking for, if you're not using your phone, it should find it automatically on the phone. But if you're using a computer, it may be looking for a camera that you don't have plugged in.
You know what? I'll leave the call and see if he can join.
Okay.
It's not me either. I've just checked mine now. It's not me.
Just message me on Skype, all right?
In the meantime, let's just continue. Because there's still 10 minutes and 16 seconds of garbage.
Weeder Gabe.
No shadow in the penumbra. So that's all bunk. You know, if you never witness a penumbra, it doesn't exist. So
hold on.
There's a piece of logic for you.
If you've never experienced it, it doesn't exist. So object permanence isn't a thing for you.
So if someone spends all their life in a bunker and they never, therefore, get subjected to a penumbra, therefore it does not exist for everybody. Excellent. Great thinking. Or an Eskimo's never witnessed it, or someone is.
Is anyone else starting to to question whether or not these people are actually legitimately brain damaged?
I mean, he makes sense. I don't have AIDS, so therefore it must not exist.
Yeah, good one. Yeah, good one, Skeptic. Yeah, I mean these people believe that half the world is lying to them. I mean, they're socially dysfunctional. I mean, the flat Earth bit is just one tiny tip of the iceberg of their problems.
Yeah.
All right, let's continue.
Still blocked, apparently.
I just actually found him in one of my previous hangouts and just poked him directly, so it's not me, and he doesn't have me blocked because I'm actually able to message him. So, guys, check your hangouts. You should have a message from me.
I checked that list that Gerard put up, and that's not me.
Super weird.
Yeah, the only user I have that is not a Google user because they deleted the account that's on my block list is Timmy Dipshit.
Is it possible that it might have been Micro? That even though he has left the hangout, somebody else is not able to join?
No, because
he's still in the back chat is the thing.
Yeah, it's getting onto the panel. Someone on the panel his account doesn't like, but it could be someone you have blocked though too, Geist.
Yeah, exactly. I was sure it's not Geist that's blocked somebody.
I just gave him the link in Hangouts. He hasn't seen it yet on how to check that.
Wasn't me.
Okay, in the meantime, let's continue.
It's at 93 million miles. If it's a ball, only the very center part of the sun, which is facing Earth, would strike the Earth, those rays.
Ah!
Wow. Okay.
Okay, time to break out GeoGebra.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Okay. Actually, I think I have a 2-scale model somewhere in GeoGebra, so I'm gonna take that. Let's see, angles. MrT&S moon observation sounds nice. Maybe it's that. No, there we go. Sun, Earth, Moon system complete. That sounds great.
Who's got the TV on in the background or something?
No.
Ah, it's gone now.
Yep, that one is perfect.
Loud friends.
So let me actually bring this up to perspective for what he's just claimed. The only light we should be able to see from the sun, if the sun is a ball, is the light coming directly from the center, directly towards us.
Yeah, I mean, how can you say such a thing? I mean, Jesus.
Okay.
Now, how can you say that and then turn around and say that the inverse square law works?
Can
the
you
inverse
guys,
square law
can you
works
guys
because
see
it
my
goes in all
screen?
directions.
Has he ever said that?
Guys, can you
all
guys see my
flat.
screen?
You're still presenting the other
Oh, sorry.
other account.
Can you guys see my screen now?
Yeah,
Yes.
can.
He's
Pull this
trying
away.
again.
This is a 2-scale model of the Earth, Sun, Moon system. So if you guys don't know, Sun's over there, Earth and Moon are over here. I can actually change the distance of the Earth to the Sun according to the orbital data. As you see, the 150 million kilometers line is here, so it varies from 147 to 152 million kilometers.
Guys view.
Guys view, hello, how are you?
Well, hello.
Can
Can you guys hear me?
fine.
Hey, the penguin lives.
So
Hey, just give you a heads up, I'm on my cell, so.
I'm just going to say welcome back to not freezing your nuts off land.
who would you block?
Me
guys?
move to a better spot here. I just cleared my whole block list, so.
Okay, that's weird. Anyway, just let me finish my
I wasn't.
We're gonna talk about you in a few minutes, I promise. But this needs to be finished first.
Go ahead.
Okay. So yeah, again, sun's on the left side, moon's right here, Earth's right here. I can actually change the orbital distance of the moon in accordance to the data that actually is a thing, and I can actually tip the moon from -5 to +5.2 degrees relative to the ecliptic. So
who's panting?
no idea. So let's see on which parts of the sun can actually directly see the Earth. So, oh dear, this will take some time.
That's the problem with scale models.
Yep.
The way you scroll wheel that, zooming in and out.
Okay, so you see there's actually 2 lines here, starting at sun top and 2 starting at sun bottom. Now, whenever there's an object in between the Earth and the sun, obviously there would be a shadow behind that object, which in this case is the moon. But oh dear, this is actually showing going towards the moon. How do we do this then? Okay, as you can see, there's no object blocking the Earth from the sunlight, right? Which means that he's talking out of his ass.
Yeah, the point is that the sun is emitting light from all over it, and there's got at the top and bottom of left side to side. That's all shining at us.
Exactly. Every point on the surface of the sun is actually irradiating photons in every direction.
In every direction, that's right.
That means if there isn't any object between any position on the Earth and any position on the sun, you can see the entire disk of the sun. And
Now, an analogy I brought up
towards us.
The analogy I brought up with Mr. Thrive and Survive was look at a light bulb. Not even an incandescent. Look at a bulb that's actually got a clear glass. You don't just see the filament of the light bulb. You also see the light coming from the glass, even though it should be going out, according to Thrive and Survive, in a straight line from the filament outwards, which means you shouldn't be able to see the edges of a glass light bulb. But we do, because anything that a photon hits, it actually scatters in all directions. Same thing with a light source. It scatters in all directions.
I actually haven't seen a clear light bulb in years.
They still have them.
They've actually become a thing here in the U.S. because people want the retro look, so you get the clear glass with the faux Edison filaments inside.
Yeah, well, we have. Well, here's the thing. People like that retro look here as well, but instead of actually having like tungsten wire in there, we just have like printed LEDs, which are also like in the wire shape. Do you know those? Wait a second.
Yeah, I've got some LED ones as well. Yeah.
Let me actually show you how this looks, because this is like super awesome.
And speaking of, I actually just ordered a bunch of LED lights for the bike.
Oh, right. How's the Ducati?
If only today was a little warmer, I wouldn't be here right now. I would be out and about.
Mm. Yeah, it looks nice bike, Jared. Nice bike. Good. What does it rev up to?
What was that?
What does it rev up to?
Oh, normal cruise, depending on so highway speed. So
what's the red line? So I suppose I want to ask, what red line? What's the red line?
Oh, red line. Red line is up near 9.5.
Oh, right. Okay, bloody hell. Right. Okay.
Yeah, look at that.
That's fucking cool.
Ain't that
That's
awesome?
fucking cool right there.
I mean, it pretty much has the exact irradiating properties of a light bulb, only that it just needs like 6% of the regular power.
Amazing.
Anyway, more garbage. Let's continue.
All the rest, even if it's just a half a degree off, because it's a ball, you know, only the very center part of the ball could be pointed right at you. Those photons, even just a fraction of a degree off, would miss the Earth by hundreds, if not thousands of miles.
So what the photons that are irradiated away from the center point of the sun, from our perspective, that would be aiming half a degree in the wrong direction.
Just imagine this guy's gone up to a guy, an astronomy graduate or whatever, and gone up to him and said, well, they didn't understand Penumbra, and I'm going to explain to them about how this thing of mine. I mean, Jesus.
Just real quick, can you do me a favor, Gio? Can you make a half circle in GeoGebra that you can actually move around?
Yeah, wait a second. I think I can.
Imagine the poor guy receiving some idiot like this coming up to him saying, oh, you don't understand Penumbra, you don't understand this thing.
I'm ready.
You'd want to hit him, wouldn't you? You want to hit a guy telling you this with such confidence. Yeah.
I was just going to have you add it to that image that you already had up.
Oh,
yeah, and that's the funny thing. He is saying it with confidence.
Yeah,
like he's convinced.
Stunning.
He's convinced.
Just make a half circle that you can actually move around.
And he's taking pity on this poor educated astronomer, planetary astronomer, thinking, oh, he doesn't understand. Oh, no.
Draw a straight line between the 2 points.
You mean between A and B?
Yeah.
God. I think if I had someone...
Okay, now center of that straight line, put it anywhere on the sun to where it's tangential to the surface.
At its
there we go.
Thrive and survive. That tangent point is not facing the Earth, but the photons from that tangent point are going in every direction you see that arc.
Yes.
Oh wait, it's possible I'm not screen sharing. Give me a second.
Yeah,
there we go. I was not presenting to the Hangout.
The light from the sun is scattering in every direction that's tangential, and through that entire arc away from it. From everywhere at the same time. We're not just going to see a straight laser line to the center of the sun. You are a dumbass.
Yeah, it's not a laser, is it? It's not a bloody laser.
It's not a point source.
As long as the Earth is somewhere, like the direction towards the Earth is somewhere in that semicircle, you're gonna see that point of the surface of the sun, and that includes fucking poles, at least almost.
Yeah, this is what you don't understand, Thrive and Survive, and you've actually, like always, strawmanned the model in order to push your narrative. This is all you ever do.
Science won't debate me. PhD or better.
He's one of the worst, isn't he? He's really more stupid than Nathan Oakley and Anthony Riley. Even Anthony Riley, I don't think is this stupid.
Oh, this guy's
I kind of have to disagree with that.
Right, okay.
Listen, this guy literally said in a video that I debunked that if in the heliocentric model on the Arctic Circle, because you get a 24-hour sun period, the sun should go make a zigzag motion in the sky back and forth.
Good one.
Okay,
He's a fucking idiot.
Yeah, the trouble is we're having to make up for the fact they've missed out on 5 years of crucial education in their teens, and we have to fill in this gap for these people.
I'm ashamed to say that these people are fucking part of our race.
Yeah.
I mean, they've
remind everybody that he still hasn't topped Anthony yet. Anthony has made the claim you can see stars through a solar filter that are too dim to see when the solar filter is not on.
Wow, that's pretty stupid.
Nothing I have heard in Flat Earth has ever come close to topping that.
We ought to do a top 10 or something. Nominate top 10.
Wait.
I suppose that's instead of people, the top 10 stupid things have been said.
Come on, Rumpus. You want to do that video?
Rumpus, do you want more than Anthony to be a contributor to this?
Right. You think Anthony would monopolize the top 10, do you?
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Okay.
This guy's pretty stupid. I mean, there's things he's coming out with here. This is pretty top drawer stuff.
Top drawer. Moving on.
Miles. It would never strike the earth. So that's something I got to develop out. But it was like, the excuse that they gave gives us more fun. There was a couple other things, some other terms. It was like, are you familiar with this?
Okay, stop. Before he's now gonna talk about something else, is there any comment you guys want to make?
Yeah, if you do basic geometry on the sun and you place just like you did with the GeoGebra, is that how it's called? Okay, just like you did. This is a basic
English because it's a German program, but whatever.
Well, that right there, if they were to get into the model and play with it and understand what they were talking about, like how can we take you seriously when you don't even know about like light wave propagation? Like you have no clue what light wave. You talk about refraction. You live by refraction. Everything that disappears over the horizon is refraction, and you ain't got a fucking clue about light wave propagation.
Worse than that, he just can't draw straight lines. I mean, this guy can't draw a straight line from one part of the sun to the earth and understand what happens. So all you need to be able to do, 2 circles, draw a straight line from one to the other. That's it. You can't cope with that.
Moving on.
So, and I was like, no. And he said, well, it's like, and
yes, start this back a little bit further back because he said something that needs to be caught with what he just said now. You can start from there, even if just a couple of seconds, like 2 seconds back from where we just started, because he says something and then he picks
giving him 10 seconds.
That's perfect. That's perfect.
And there was a couple other things, some other terms. He was like, are you familiar with this? And I was like, no.
Right there. Stop it. There you go. Okay. There you go. Go get you a fucking college education so you can tell that guy, yes, I understand that. And this is what is wrong with it. If you can't do that, then you're lost. You're wrong.
Yeah. I mean,
don't just deny it.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt you. Yes, so the basic point is he's saying I haven't heard of that, therefore it can't be right. I mean, that's his logic. I don't understand it. I haven't heard of it, therefore it doesn't exist.
No,
I've never seen a great white shark in person, so they must not be real either.
In this case, it's just ignorance because
yeah.
He literally just said, "Yeah, I'm not familiar with it," so that's ignorance by definition.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
I haven't heard it, therefore it can't be right. Can't be part of a body of human knowledge. End of.
Oh. Like he can't understand something, so straight away he says no.
Yeah.
And he'll never understand it as long as he keeps watching Eric Dubé, Mark Sargent, and every other fucking flat earth idiot.
Yeah, I mean the point is when someone says something you don't understand, the first thing you do, obviously, if it's not a flat earther, but if someone you respect, you go away and think, oh, well, okay, I'll go and find out what the hell that's about. But obviously, we know this guy's a moron, so when he says something we don't understand, we think he's just being an idiot. But I suppose he hasn't learned. Yeah, he doesn't have the attitude of I don't understand something, therefore I better go and find out about it. That's not. He's not explore. He's not willing to try and find out about things.
I think when he tried to test this theory, he must have just used a torch or a laser, like you're saying.
Yeah, they love lasers, of course. I think that's there's nothing a flat earther likes more than a laser. So they think light works just like that. I think.
Well, maybe lobotomy.
That's the other thing. They think if they get a laser and it says it's let's say it has a beam width of 1.2 millimeters, they think it's going to be 1.2 millimeters forever.
Yeah, they love that.
Yeah. Fuck.
Okay, let's continue.
More stupid.
Well, it's like you'll eventually see this. So anyway, we let him off the hook, but my mind started spinning instantly. There were several things he said. It was a joke. It really was. And he's saying a lot of, well, in theory, and he's doing a lot of this because he didn't expect us to. I think he expected us to come up and say, how are phases of the moon? How are they created? Some kind of question and answer like that. And Mike was going through the.
I bet that Mr. T&S couldn't answer that question.
And that's the other thing. They don't hold these open houses for you to go in there and debunk them. They're there for you to learn about it. If you want to debunk something, go learn the model and say, no, this is the inconsistency that we can observe. You can't do that if you don't know our model. As long as you go to some place that's here to teach you about the model and you just say, nope, I'm not going to learn what they have to say, but I'm still going to tell them that they're all fucking wrong. I have no idea what the model means, but it's wrong, obviously, because the Earth is obviously flat. And there's no other possible shape it could possibly be.
It's amazing. Their ignorance is their foundation for their opinion. They've got nothing more than their ignorance of the way the world works and thinks that's the qualification to be able to then comment upon it.
Garbage.
Things with what he wanted to do, and he had all the math down, and even halfway through, Mike's saying, well, wait a minute, you can have only so many hours of total eclipse on the Earth because of whatever. He goes, yeah, I'm sure you've got your math down.
Yeah, thank you. If we have our math down, that's a pretty good indication that whatever we are doing is fucking correct.
And it makes predictions, of course, that exactly match reality. This is the same thing as disparaging that gives us the results that exactly match what we experience.
And that goes to say like this: how does he know that our model's wrong if he's not using math to be able to test the prediction of the model?
Math is not reality.
Actually, Gio, if you want to share GeoGebra again, I'll show you how he proves that our model is wrong.
Yeah,
so go ahead and make a new thing, make a big circle on it. This is Mr. Thrive and Survive's understanding of our model and how he proves that our model is wrong.
But maths is not reality.
Is the scaling relevant?
No, not really.
This is going to make my head hurt, I tell you.
Yes, it will. Okay, next to that, draw a circle that's about a quarter of the same size.
I know what you're about to do, Sean. You're going to have to back out a little bit.
Now zoom out and make sure that those circles are touching at the equator.
Oh dear.
I remember when he said this.
Wait a sec.
This was great. This was great. You can make that the big circle right there. You could just,
Oh, no.
Make it smaller.
16, so... There we go.
Now put a dot at the north pole of the larger circle.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Now this is Mr. Thrive and Survive's understanding of the heliocentric model.
I can't see
the large circle is the Earth. The small circle is the moon. So somebody standing at the pole should not be able to see the moon because they're touching.
Now, Gio, take that.
Come on, Sean, he can't believe this.
He's done a video on this, Rumpus. Do your research.
What would the most
Rumpus, this is exactly what he drew.
By the way,
I stayed quiet. I knew exactly what Sean was bringing up.
Hey, Gio, can you move that? Can you move the smaller circle about 50 times the radius of the bigger circle out?
Yeah, wait, I have a better idea.
Well, he's already done one. He's already done it. He's already done
Oh, yeah. He's already done it. Now, there you go. So see, that's why you can see the moon. Look at that. That's why you can
This is why I call him Lion Connive, because he has to make straw men in order to try to push a narrative.
He's just stupid, Sean. He's just unbelievably stupid.
Well, here's the thing, Sean. It's not just that he has to manipulate it in this manner to fit his narrative. There are details he has given that were outright lies that I caught out to begin with. Wait a minute, Rich. Didn't you originally state that you were a civilian meteorologist stationed aboard a U.S. aircraft carrier? Sorry, that don't fucking happen.
Hey Gio, can we plot points on the spheres in 3D like XYZ points?
No, sorry.
It's only a 2D program.
God,
there is a 3D option, but I haven't found out how to use it correctly yet. It's lacking some functions that I'd actually need.
Dude, we could actually, if you ever figure that out, we could actually go and take data points from the DirecTV satellite installation program and plot out using the azimuth and elevation. We could plot out where exactly that satellite is located according to the surface of the Earth. We could do it on both flat and globe Earth and see which one.
So yeah, as you can see here in some instances, you actually cannot see the moon from the North and South Pole when the moon is actually below the ecliptic.
Sean,
not the ecliptic. The plane of the
celestial plane.
So, Sean, you're telling me that he thinks the moon is rubbing along the surface of the Earth?
That is how he represented the heliocentric model in order to push his narrative. Yes.
Yeah, I remember.
But he can't believe that the moon's doing that, can he? I mean, he must have made an error or something in his diagram.
I'm looking for the video now.
It's not that. It's that. It's that he at that point, after he says that, you have to make the assumption he is either really, 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 really fucking stupid, or he's just very dishonest and he knows what parts to leave out to make sure that whatever he's doing that he makes him feel important, he still has a platform to do that on.
I think they just got cognitive dissonance. They say things that just contradict one another. They don't realize perhaps this diagram that he drew at one moment, he then forgot the consequences of it being there. And so they don't hold all these concepts, whereas we tend to think of all these concepts all being consistent and compatible. Whereas I think in the flat earth mind, they have all these separate things that can be completely contradictory that just happen to be convenient to think of one at a time, and then not realize that the whole model they've got in their head, or the combination of things, are utterly contradictory. So I'm assuming this thing that Sean's seen, you and whoever it was else, Jared's seen, is somehow just one of these little incidents where he thought this would work for this particular problem, not thinking the moon is scraping. I'm sorry, this is come on, Sean, this is more stupid than anything Riley said. If this really is what you can't meant this.
Electrolysis.
Riley said that Alaska was not part of the United States.
Yeah, but that's this. But have the moon scraping along the surface of the Earth. I'm sorry, that's a whole order of magnitude of not knowing where Alaska is or what.
Riley said the apparent curvature of the Earth, as seen in Soundly's Lake Pontchartrain power line footage, was caused by electrolysis.
You see, this is what happens when your imagination is not constrained by logic. You can think of vast imagination, the things they say. I just can't. My mind is not to have that scope because it's constrained by sense and rationality.
Well, I could swear I'm starting to hallucinate here. I could swear that MrThriveAndSurvive just blinked, even though this video is paused.
No, that's a good point too that you make, because when they talk about the Michelson-Morley experiment, that I've done a little bit of research into that. They actually did that experiment several times and measured different values each time. Like when they say, "Oh, the Earth is perfectly still," that's not what the Michelson-Morley experiment said. Michelson-Morley's experiment said we could be moving at up to 10 kilometers per second. And that was only one of the experiments. One experiment, they detected no motion at all. Another experiment, they detected 1/6 the motion. So when you have all these inconsistencies, we don't ever say, well, in this part of the Earth, we have 1/6 gravity. And in this other part of the Earth, we don't have any gravity there. But gravity exists, though. It exists, and it goes by this formula, except for in these anomalous situations. No, if that was the case, we would say we have no fucking clue what gravity is.
Yeah, but the point is they never understand about science. And in fact, you're always on the limit of whatever you're trying to say. Michelson-Morley on the limit of what they could measure. And of course, they don't understand about errors. and they're interfering with your signal to noise ratios, and they don't understand this concept at all. Everything will be perfect, and this is why if you have any problem in any explanation or some experiment, they just immediately leap on you. So, well, you mean to say you're not sure? They don't understand that we're always working to an error value, and Michelson-Morley was doing the same thing. So that was on the very limit of what his experiment could do. So they then did several newer experiments that were more and more accurate. And similarly with the LIGO thing, they couldn't detect gravity waves until they made that improvement where it was 2 years ago. And then suddenly, bang, they spotted a gravity wave. But prior to that, they didn't because it wasn't accurate enough. It wasn't sensitive enough. And then the angles, things like the angles involved in seeing stars are just so tiny. When you realise the tiny, tiny angles involved in trying to do stuff in astronomy, you think, how the hell can they get optics and things like the Hubble telescope when they talk about the thickness of the mirrors out by a bloody piece of dust and caused it to then have everything out of focus? You realise that the tolerances they're working to are just unbelievable. But of course, this is all completely unknown to flatties.
Okay, more garbage.
So, they want to use math to prove stuff when it's to their advantage, but when the math doesn't work, they don't want to use it.
No, when the math doesn't work, we ask, what math did you do? And is there probably a fuck up in there?
Yeah, you redo the math. You just try to do it again.
How would this guy know whether the maths is on our side or not? I bet this guy's incapable of doing any maths.
Wait, maybe he's mixing up math with meth.
That's just me doing math.
Oh yeah, sorry. Let's continue.
So hopefully I explained that well with the ball thing, and only the very center part of the sun, if it was a ball 93 million miles away.
Again. Sorry, just saying, he just said it again. He just not carry on.
Photons that could strike the moon or the earth at that distance, because you would absolutely not be able to. I mean, once you have a slight angle away at that distance, math is only good for counting your change. Absolutely. And they've got people not to even be able to count their change anymore without a computer. You ever been someplace you go to buy something and for whatever reason the computer doesn't tell them what the change is? The cashier is lost. I mean, totally lost. It's like when I was growing up, you learned how
Hang on.
I'm lost there with that.
Well, no. So he is trying to equate people of lower intelligence having jobs that require lower skills, not being able to do basic arithmetic on the fly, as being some reason why the standard globe model is wrong.
Yeah, why scientists would get things wrong is because a cashier in a supermarket doesn't understand how to do add and subtract. Yeah, that's the reasoning. Poor cashier can't in a supermarket, therefore, because they can't do arithmetic, therefore scientists in astronomy can't do anything either. Excellent.
Well, the cashier is just a fucking flat earther.
Yeah, I was gonna say the educationally inadequate has always had a problem with basic arithmetic. It is not anything new due to increased technology. Increased technology may perpetuate that phenomenon, or may even make it more of a more significant phenomenon in society. But that's just a problem with fucking unintelligent people.
Congratulations, she is dumber than my sister, and she is a fucking anti-vaxxer.
Yeah, and this is the this is the problem. There's not so much the flat earth; it's the reasoning. Their basic reasoning is just shot. And it's not their knowledge of science. They can't acquire the knowledge. They can't reason.
Okay, still approximately 8 minutes to go. We have to continue.
If you bought something for $10 or for $12.15, there was nothing that told you how much change you had. You would start counting from $12.50 if you handed them a 20, let's say. You would give them, $12.15, and you would give them 3 quarters, right? And that would take you up to $12.
Wait a second, quarters? Do you guys have $quarter coins in the US?
Yes, 25 cents.
What the fuck?
Notice this is the most detailed he's explanation he's done now. He's actually got into numbers and things because this is something he can cope with.
It's basic.
I mean, why not 20s?
Well, a quarter is a sort of unit, isn't it?
Well, keep in mind when it comes to U.S. currency, we still have coins in denominations of 1 cent, 5 cent, 10 cent, and 25 cent, and occasionally you may even find a 50-cent piece or the occasional commemorative $1 coin.
Okay, so we have 1 cent, 2 cent, 5 cent, 10 cent, 20 cent, 50 cent, €1, and €2.
Too many damn coins.
Yeah, we got the same thing. Yeah, we got up to £2 in the UK.
Let me ask you a question. Is the outside of your coins different, like along the ridges?
Yes.
Yeah.
They have all different. They have all different sizes and
shapes. They're not all round.
Obviously,
they're made from different metals.
Yeah.
Do you know why they have the differences on the outside?
For blind people.
Visually
blind
impaired
people.
Yeah,
it's crazy. Huh?
Yeah.
And we have different shapes. So we've got a 20p and a 50p coin that are not circular. They're sort of.
They have aren't they like heptagons? I think?
Yeah, so something like that. Yeah, I can't remember. Yeah.
Yeah, I was really flabbergasted when I once went to Denmark and found out their coins actually have holes in them.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I asked Micro about this. Apparently, it's a tradition to actually give your kids or your grandkids as a present a necklace made of coins.
Yeah, that's what the Chinese originally did. They used to put the coins on a string and collect them together. That's how they held them together with the hole in the middle.
Okay, more garbage.
85 cents, and then 15 cents would take you to 13. You'd hand them 2 ones, it takes you 15, and 5 makes 20.
Make it stop, please.
So that is actually lost on today's generation, and I've had that a couple of times where the computer broke down. You're getting very close to the truth. It's a lonely place. Not as long as it used to be, but I get you. More and more people are open now, I'm noticing. And more people that are coming from the outside to my videos and leaving comments, certainly not a majority, are actually starting to agree.
I would have ended that sentence differently.
I would like to see a source on this.
Hey, I'm not going to ask you to rewind it, but I think he said that the cashier would give you back.
Don't go over again, please.
Listen, 3/4 and 15 cents. I believe that's what he said. And
he said $15.
Okay, so he's wrong. So 3/4 of 15 cents is 90 cents. 90 plus 12.15 is 13.05.
Okay, let's not go over again, please.
I think you're right. Yeah.
I didn't want to stop the video. When he said that, I caught it. Yes,
$7.85 back. Yep, you're right. Oh dear.
He can work at my shop.
Okay, can we continue?
Yeah.
Talking about what we were thinking about doing, Mike. They can use math to prove. Come on, don't go off my screen. That it's a space unicorn dancing in front of the sun if it suits them. Yeah, he didn't want to use the math when Mike was giving it to him because the math doesn't go along with their model. At 93 million miles away, you can only have parallel rays. And after he said, because he was trying to say, well, I held up a piece of paper and said, you're never going to make that shadow smaller. He goes, oh, yeah, you can. I said, well, do it. And of course, he couldn't.
Well, okay. Maybe. Yeah, okay, there are two things. First of all, they were probably talking past each other because what is the shadow? Does he include the umbra or the umbra and the penumbra? And second of all, obviously, you have to have the right size of light source, which is not guaranteed in these circumstances.
Well, when he said he asked him to do it, I presume he asked the guy to draw a diagram. I didn't quite understand that.
No, I think what he said was he gave him a piece of paper, and he wanted this paper to be used as a shadow casting object.
Oh, right, okay. I thought he was going to draw a diagram on the paper. Okay.
Or am I wrong on this?
Oh, no, you might be right. I don't try and listen. I try and filter out most of the crap that's coming from this guy.
Yeah,
I could easily have misunderstood it.
Based on the size of the light source, and the light source must be larger than the object casting the shadow, you'll get to 2 different shadows. One where you're having a partial coverage, and one where at that point you look up and whatever object is blocking the other object, it's completely blocked at that point. So that's why, yes, it's 109 times wider, wider than the Earth, but it's also about, I think, or how much wider? It's like 400 times wider than the moon, and it's
yes, approximately
400 times further away. Well, that ratio right there is going to result in a certain amount of complete coverage and a certain amount of not complete coverage. And like I see where Sean was saying stop it, because he made the incorrect assertion that every ray is going to come in parallel. No, it's not. It just appears to come in parallel.
Well, presumably they dispute that the sun is 400 times further away than the moon is half the problem with that explanation.
And they say it's smaller than the Earth itself, which is impossible to do with the way the sun rises every day. Good luck explaining that with a tiny sun.
Yeah, just explain the fact the sun bloody goes behind under the horizon. It's just simple. There was someone asking on some forum today saying, if you knew nothing, if you were in the Stone Age, how would you justify a flat Earth? Well, if you assume that the sun is, I suppose you'd have to know that the sun didn't go dark for the whole planet. But if you knew that there were some of the planet was in sunshine, and the moon and the sun clearly goes below the horizon on a flat Earth, immediately you know it's not flat. I mean, it's as simple as that. You don't need to go any further than that, really.
Well, how about as soon as you know that it's not day all the time, then you already know that the Earth can't be flat.
Yeah.
He's not the guy that stuck his thumb out and said, "Look," and covered the sun with his thumb and said, "Look, the sun's smaller than me thumb."
Well, I was gonna. I forgot what I was gonna say. No, never mind.
More garbage.
But there was multiple light sources, and he held it up and said, "See, it's smaller." I was like, "No, it's not. It's not smaller shadow." And I said, "Plus, you've got multiple light sources here." And then that's when I think that was when he started talking about having the ball, and so it's the rays come at a little bit different angles and things like that. And that's when it dawned on me, it's like, wait a minute, yeah, at that distance, only the very center part of the sun that's facing the Earth, if it's a ball 93 million miles away, would strike the Earth.
Yeah, again, you're wrong.
Yeah, I have these
mentioned that before.
I have these same moments that he's having right now, but I have them when I'm contemplating like what a black hole would be like, you know, if you could get close enough to it. He's sitting there having these like life-changing like visions and ideas that involve the distance of the sun and how you should only be able to see the middle point of it. Sun's not a fucking laser. It's a fucking ball of light.
God.
So, I mean, that's something that's been in front of us the whole time I never even thought about. You know, the sun's so much bigger than the moon, that's why you get a number of penumbra, or that's why the shadow of the moon can be smaller. BS. How much of the sun's rays can strike the moon if it's 93 million miles away and it's a ball?
How is that relevant?
1/2 of the rays. That's the correct answer.
No.
1/2 of the sun? We could see 1/2 of the sun the whole time.
Yeah, but not 1/2 of the rays.
Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. Yeah. No. But I'm saying we could see from the Earth, we could see 1/2 of the sun at all times.
Yes.
What is the rule? If you're 1 degree off in 60 miles, you'll be a mile off. All right, 1 degree off in 60 miles, you'll be 1 mile off. So
stop. And that alone shows you that the Earth is a sphere, because a sphere is the only geometrical shape on which this is possible. Okay, apparently somebody requests that the face be changed. Okay. There we go. Is that better? I'm not sure. Anybody else got any comments?
I'm still looking for a video.
Okay, I'm just surprised that there are idiots who are actually dumber than people from the Dark Ages.
Yeah, they're dumber than people. There are people who are banging rocks together for a living that knew more than this guy does about how the world works.
Well, MRI, on the other hand, they actually burned witches in the Middle Ages.
That makes more sense. That makes more sense than what he's saying.
Oh, we fucking burn witches nowadays anyway.
Yeah, I was about to say we didn't have a good witch burning since 1976.
Like, remember the Middle East? They probably burned witches there.
Yeah, I know.
There's species of monkeys that show more cognition than flat earthers.
Okay, so here's the thing about this. Dogs are able to add and subtract one-digit numbers. The equivalent age of a human with the same capability is approximately 4 years. A cat can do the same, but doesn't give a fuck, so the mental age equivalent would be 45 years. Do you think these guys can do more?
No.
It's just distressing watching these people in action. It really is. This level of stupidity is just. Oh.
This is the link between Lucy and Neanderthal.
Yeah.
I know if they didn't have their feet, they wouldn't be able to count to 20.
I'm pretty sure Neanderthals were smarter than this bloke.
Yeah, I mean, when you see what Neanderthals and things had to do in the Stone Age, if you done any sort of stone clipping or something, or had to go and hunt for yourself, or survive in the wild, you had to be pretty bright. And all this sort of things had to do about storing food, knowing when the seasons were, and all this sort of stuff. This guy is
being
not
able to build something like an arrow to hunt your shit. Being able to understand how fire works.
In fact, I think I saw something saying that in fact in this sort of age, Stone Age, or before the civilizations, you actually in some ways many more intelligent than we are now, more adaptable, more because you're living on the edge all the time. You're living by your wits. This guy's the thing is that the most complicated thing he has to sort out is which remote, how to record the bloody stuff on his TV every night.
And he can't fucking figure that out.
He probably can't even program his fucking VCR.
He is weak and he will not survive the winter.
On the other hand, so cannot you.
I did record it. So Alex is taunting me about the fact that I happened to delete a Rick and Morty I destroyed. But in fact, I had recorded the last Rick and Morty. I hadn't switched off the series link. So
you mean the one last week?
No, I've got the one as of 3 days ago. The one that you wanted me that said was very funny.
The one from last week.
I did miss the one from last week because I accidentally deleted it as it was recording.
That's the fucking best episode of the season.
Oh damn!
It's Interdimensional Cable Part 1. For those who don't know. Okay, let's continue.
Up by 93 million miles and 1 degree. So very, very little portion of the sun actually strike the Earth. In fact, it's probably smaller than the size of the moon or the Earth. I'll have to see if I can find somebody that can actually figure that out using 3D mathematics. It's crazy stuff that's right in front of you all the time that you just never know. So anyway, I just want to...
Yeah, there currently is crazy stuff in front of our eyes that we cannot understand.
Can I ask the question, what is 3D mathematics?
I think...
I mean, I can understand it in like matrices if that's what he's talking about, but I don't think that's what he's talking about.
I don't think he's talking about vector mathematics, for example. He's talking about 3D geometry.
Okay. Yeah. Just wanted to clarify that for you, Rich.
I think he deleted the video.
What?
I think he deleted the video.
This is this infamous video with the moon scraping the Earth's surface. You sure? You really sure it's not a dream you had, Sean?
Positive, because I've actually covered it several times.
I saw it.
Then, Sean, you probably still have it on one of your computers.
Well, I never downloaded it. There's a problem.
For fuck's sake.
Well,
there's still a hangout of it existing where we were talking about it.
No, there's several that I brought it up because it's just so insanely absurd.
Okay, great. This means that in the future we probably have to download all his stuff as well. Rest in peace, hard drive number 7.
Well, the problem is his titles never actually talk about the points. I'm actually having to go through each of his videos to find this damn thing.
Oh no, fuck that! You're already wasting enough of your life with this shit.
Yeah, Sean, don't. Yeah, I'll believe you, Sean. Don't worry. It's shocking, but yeah.
I think I probably just got done looking at like 60 videos.
Oh my god, Sean, don't do it to yourself. I don't want to put you through this pain.
Okay, so Sean,
because the image that he put on screens is so burned into my mind because it was just so asinine that I'm just scrubbing through and see if I can see that picture show up on the video.
Oh,
when are you going for therapy, Sean?
Yeah, Sean, be careful.
I need it now.
This isn't doing you any good.
Okay, so Sean, since you work at Walmart,
no, I don't.
Do you get a employees discount on beer?
No.
Damn it!
Alcohol and tobacco is not included in the employee discount.
Because talking about Mr. Thrive and Survive, I imagine you might want to use that. To the side chat, Björn Kamitz. Yeah, I've seen sovereign citizens.
Oh, just for clarity, because...
wait a second. Now, Björn, I don't know where you're from. Your name sounds kind of European, but there's actually a similar thing that we have over here. It's called a Reichsbürger.
Just to point out.
Those people think that the German Empire still exists, and they are much worse than the sovereign citizens that exist in the United States. Just saying.
Well, just to point out, we praise Thrive and Survive for using landscape mode on his phone. He didn't always.
Yeah, well, there's a learning curve there. I mean, that's fair. Let's just ignore this for a while. Oh, damn it, I was just sharing your screen.
I just wanted to point it out. But I'm still going through videos because he's got to still have this. He doesn't delete shit very often, and I know that this is one that slipped under his radar. It has to have been. I just got to find it.
Sean, it's too painful. I don't like to feel I'm responsible for you suffering like this. Don't do it.
Well, I'm not listening to it. I'm just pulling the video up and actually just scrubbing through looking for this one specific image.
Let's continue. Still 5 minutes to go.
God damn it, do we have to?
Yeah, we have to. Sorry, Jared. We absolutely need to.
How everybody's doing and different things like that. Hold on just a second. Let's see if I can get this. I'm starting to get good at getting these to come back up. Drowning me on a clutch of straws to survive. That's what the ballers. Yeah, that's sort of, I think, what he was feeling. I really do not think he was expecting to be challenged. I really don't think he was. And just think if we went there to be gotcha people, we could have just, I could have talked about the moon temperature. I could have talked about the, no light, no hot spot, and no darkening around the edges. I like when I mentioned that in my last video about the moon has no hot spot and it's not dark around the edges, and people want to just hit on the hot spot part. Oh, well, it's because it's made out of powder and it's not very highly reflective. Apollo, there was plenty of hot spots we saw when the Apollo the Apollo mission, so to speak, were on the moon. There was plenty of light there to cause hot spots. And even if you say, well, it's the stuff.
Pause for a second. So does anyone want to point out the massive difference of why you would get hot spots from imagery during the Apollo missions and not from the Earth on the moon?
May I have to say perspective in this case?
In a sense, it's almost like angle of incidence matters. And you're not going to get a hot spot when the angle between the source, the reflecting object, and the observer is below 90 degrees. Think about it, because we get hot spots on the Earth most easily over water. The closer to 170 degrees and up towards about 100.
Well, of course, on diffuse reflection, which is what the moon is, because it's made up of a dark, roughly shaped sand, or whatever they call this, whatever the name of the bloody stuff on the moon is called. Regolith, that's it. Which is the most irregularly shaped thing you can imagine. It's obviously going to reflect it diffusely, so you don't have these sort of sharp incident versus that. It's not conforming to that sort of relationship at all. You're going to get light just generally wiggling all over the shop.
Okay, let's continue.
Bright or whatever. It certainly was enough to light up the astronauts, wasn't it? And even coming down on the shady side on the ladder, remember that? That was
the shady side of the fucking landing module. he realizes that the sun was not directly 90 degrees overhead, right? I mean, you hope he realizes this.
I've given up on this guy. He's really just...
Why does he remind me that...
the fucking landing module casts a shadow on the surface of the moon, and if the leaving side where like the airlock is and the ladder, if that side is on the one where the shadow is, then yeah, obviously that part is gonna be in the shadow.
It's just...
Why do I get the impression when I'm listening to this guy talk, it's like that guy who played Fred Flintstone's character in that movie Flintstones?
John Goodman.
Yep.
Yeah, he does kind of look like a bootleg John Goodman.
Market 0.
Like if you wanted to cash John Goodman for a movie, but you only had $100, you could go to this guy.
Yeah, he'd be great. He'd play the part. He just had to be natural.
Sweet Jesus.
Well, all right. So I have something here to show more visually what I was talking about and why his expectation there is just completely fucking asinine and backwards. So
okay, you're being presented.
Yep.
And I see you're using the wrong version of GeoGebra.
I'm just using the basic one that I have, just because it didn't need to be too precise, just to demonstrate the point. So whether the observer is here on Earth or on the moon, you are going to have the potential for a hotspot with the observer at A, the random point of the ground in front of you at B, and C is the source of the light, in this case, the sun. When you have this sort of angle between the three, you are going to have the potential for a hotspot to be seen. However, if it's like this, where you're here on the Earth, here's the moon, and then here's the sun off in the distance behind you, when you have this sort of angle, there's no way in fucking hell you're going to get a hotspot.
Yeah, there is.
No, if you're around the other way, yes, but not the
yeah, if the sun is C and the moon is B and you're at A, there is an instant, following the instant normal reflection rule, there is.
You might see an increase in illumination at that exact point, which is where the conditions of the surface of the moon come into play.
Yeah, so I mean, that was regular. Sorry.
Yeah, however, you can get a hotspot over the surface of the Earth, not necessarily the water, and it's because of that shallow angle, not because of the condition of the material itself only. So that's where that angle of incidence of the reflection matters when it comes to this, because the more sharp angle, like what's showing here, you're going to have a lot more of the diffusion of the reflected photons, which is what makes the hotspot that much harder to tell. Now add in the regolith material of the Earth, of the moon, and it ain't gonna fucking happen. But when you go back this way and you're on the moon, looking at a point over the horizon of the moon with the sun in front of you, so all of it's coming towards you, that shallow skip will, because it's actually not getting diffused as much, and because you're actually closer to the point it's reflecting from. All the little factors that go into this for it to actually be a thing.
Yeah, and flat earthers call that a hot spot, but has nothing to do with heat. It has everything to do with reflected light. There's actually the same amount of light getting to the area next to the hot spot as there is at the hot spot. The only reason the hot spot is the way it is, it's really a bright spot, and that's just because of reflection and the way that light refracts inside of the clouds and all other things, because you don't get the bright spots over just portions of atmosphere. You have to have a cloud beneath it. You have to have something there to reflect the light to you. So just more inconsistencies and misunderstandings on their behalf.
Okay, guys, 3 minutes to go. I say we're going to do this minute-wise now. So I'm going to play from 1507 to 1607.
That's a good idea. Yeah, good idea.
If there's something happening in there, we're going to discuss it afterwards. So 1 minute, let's go.
Was their excuse when somebody called them out on that? How come you can see the astronaut when it's on the shady side? Oh, well, the moon's reflectivity is so high that it reflected off of Buzz Aldrin coming down anyway. Just total bull crap. but yet there's no hotspot. But okay, you don't want to address the hotspot and say it's because it's not very bright. What about the edges? Any you have that's got edges. I mean, all balls have edges that curve away from the observer, and you have one light source. It's going to get dark on the edges. Has to be dark on the edges. We don't see that on the moon at all, not whatsoever. But you know, they've got all the excuses. Anything to stay in the lie. It's just amazing that people want to stay in the lie. So I think I will. They just contradicted themselves. They contradict themselves all the time, and they don't even realize it. Comment all the time. I believe once we review the video.
Oh, okay, Sean. Before we come to your, okay, let's start with yours because fuck it.
Well done, Sean. Oh my God.
Looking through the Earth to see the moon when you're at the poles. And yes, this is a Mr. Thrive and Survive video published February 10th, 2016.
Oh, well, of course, they only think it's what? How high is it? How high do they think the moon is actually?
According to Thrive and Survive here, it's on the surface of the Earth.
Is he trying to do it to scale or something and claim that, you know, if he thinks the Earth is 25,000 miles long and the moon is 4,000, right? Is he trying to do it to scale to 4,000 miles above the surface? Is that what he's trying to do?
Is he maybe just completely inept in drawing this 3D? Like, is he maybe saying that the moon, which is approximately on the equator, there is maybe those 400,000 kilometers further away from the observer?
No.
I don't know. This is a
his drawing is in 2D there.
Yeah, so we've got the moon at the bottom and the sun at the top, and the observer's the thing on the right.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
That's what it's drawn, isn't it? The little yellow thing at 3 o'clock is the observer, and the sun at the top and moon at the bottom.
Was he nominated for Dumbfuck of the Year back in 2016?
No, because he's being intentionally dishonest at this point.
Yeah. I don't think so, Sean. No one who knew that this was so stupid would do it. Not because it's even stupid to flat earthers, I'm sure. It's because he's so stupid.
Yeah. Okay, going back to the video.
Amazing, Sean. Well, thanks for sharing that. That was just incredible.
Incredible. What was the first point? Yes. Is Mr. Thrive and Survive in direct sunlight in this video?
Why, no. No, he's not.
Can we see him?
Not according to Thrive and Survive.
There we go. So yeah, according to Mr. T&S, as soon as you're not in direct sunlight anymore, a camera cannot see you. Because that is what he's claiming happened on the moon, right? Even though Armstrong and Aldrin were in the shadow, they could be seen by the camera. Why? Because the stuff around them that was actually in sunlight reflected the light good enough and to actually illuminate them, which is exactly what is happening here. Just look at the wall behind him. It is not in direct sunlight. However, you can clearly distinguish the different colors of different stones inside the concrete wall. Why? Well, because they're illuminated by indirect sunlight, which is hitting some other objects, for example, the floor, grass, or whatever, and then the light is being bounced off towards that wall, and then from the wall to the fucking camera sensor, and to the back of his fucking head.
He's just so stupid.
So you're saying he's not very bright?
Exactly.
He's in a shadow. How can he be bright?
Hence the title of this hangout. By the way, for those who don't know, it's called Mr. Thrive and Survive and Other Dim Light Sources.
Now, I'm just going to point out that I'm actually going over the comments from 3 years ago on Mr. Thrive and Survive video. Even flat earthers are calling him out for this bullshit, and he's never retracted it.
Really?
Okay, that was 1 point addressed. What else did he say in this 1 minute?
There was something else, but I forgot already.
Yeah, should we take notes?
Yeah, again about the hotspots on the moon.
Oh, that was it about the
pretty
hotspots.
Much covered that before.
Yeah, this was the hotspots thing. Yeah.
Next minute.
Yeah.
From 1607 to 1707.
Yep.
Okay, everybody ready, or do you wish to add something before we continue?
I just wish to say that after Sean showed that picture, I'm pretty convinced he's more stupid than Liley.
Yeah, I think he is more stupid than Liley. Yeah.
Should we have a dumb off with Riley?
I'm going to say that I'm not going to say he's stupid. I'm going to say he's intentionally dishonest because he had to straw man this bad to try to push a narrative.
I think, Sean, I think you mistake intention for stupidity. because no one who's dishonest would, knowing that that was how stupid that is, would ever do that because they didn't realize how stupid it is.
Yeah, so I agree. If you're pushing this with intellectual honesty, that means you're a Poe. It means you're going into it full well knowing that something you're saying is so fucking ridiculously stupid that you're doing it intentionally. There's no way to accidentally do this. I mean, I guess unless he's just a flat out con man. I mean, if that's his full intention is to be a con man, then yes.
Well, let's actually address that, because there was about 1.5 years he was putting at the end of every video him selling colloidal silver to cure all kinds of shit to people.
Are you sure he's not mixing that up with colloidal mercury? Because that would explain fucking a lot.
Yeah. Colloidal lead.
Yeah, he stopped doing that because I believe the FDA came down on him to stop.
Wow. Wow.
Because
he's not
just
selling
out of the
nature
blue,
or something yet.
But out of the blue, he just stopped trying to push this colloidal silver stuff. And there's actually federal regulations against that. So I'm thinking that people reported him and he was ordered to stop.
You can sell colloidal silver, you just can't make medical claims on it. If you go in there and say,
he was doing plenty of medical claims.
That's where the homeopathy works, is when you don't make a medical claim about it. You can say, well, it doesn't work. That's when you can get it passed through FDA, is when you don't, like if you just say, oh, it's a dietary supplement designed to make you feel better.
See, I agree with Skydog. He's a complete con man. He knows what he's doing. He also knows his subscribers are going to believe anything he says. Not on this video.
Story about colloidal silver. I actually used it in the lab once. And you can use it for SERS, which is surface enhanced Raman spectroscopy. Just saying.
Wow.
Mike Dweeb, it's not because he believes multiple stupid things. It's because he's pushing intentionally, dishonestly representative things of a model that, in order to push a narrative to say the model's wrong, because my straw man of the model says it's wrong.
Okay, let's continue. Next minute, starting now.
Video from yesterday from this guy. And Mike, I should have that there in about 2 hours. I think I'll have it up to you. I think we're going to find out that he contradicted himself a couple times himself. But yeah, we could have done gotcha questions, but we decided not to. That's not our thing anyway. You know, it's the other side that's hello, Andrasi. I think that's right, if I can see it right. So anyway, it's the other side that usually wants to be ignorant and whatever. That was their turf, you know. We weren't going there to make a scene or anything like that, although we certainly could have. Could we actually see something 93 million miles away? Seems a stretch. Hello, Bob. Good to see you here. Yeah, it is a stretch. And it's like, you know, the lunar jump photos. They're left with, we're manipulating the photos. We're making it up, even though other people are catching it. So
the lunar what photos?
Presumably them jumping up and down, presumably on the lunar surface.
Well, is he talking about photos or is he talking about videos?
Videos.
Yeah, I think it means
I'm
videos.
sure he's talking about videos. He said photos. So I'd like to address that. He was like, yeah, we didn't throw any gotcha questions at the guy. Well, let's say you did. Let's say you threw a gotcha question. Here's your definition of a gotcha question is, how does this work on my flat earth model? Oh, you can't explain it? Oh, well, we can. Well, the flat earth model doesn't exist. So obviously he's not going to have a valid explanation, especially one that you're going to accept. I mean, if you ask him, oh, well, how come the sun? Oh, well, the sun's 109 times bigger than the earth. No, it's not. Nuh-uh. Where's your proof of that? Have you measured the sun? Have you actually taken a tape measure from the surface of the earth to the surface of the sun? No, you haven't. So how do you know?
Yeah, I thought he was very considerate when he said he had all these questions stacked up, ready to ask, but he decided not to.
He probably got 30 seconds into a conversation with the guy and said, yeah, this probably isn't the guy to ask all these questions to. Let's go find somebody sitting in the audience that believes in the earth. Globe Earth.
More stupid.
A second, please. Okay, let's continue.
there's always something. If people want to remain in their delusion, they will. That's just reality.
I'm sorry, it was not a minute, but this sentence pretty much sums it up perfectly, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And he's not willing to explore the issues. Just doesn't want to.
Yeah, no intention of discovering the truth, only intention of promoting their truth.
If I can play a little video here from Thrive and Survive showing that he's actually being intentionally dishonest.
I'd be interested in that.
Because he did a video on Coriolis that I called him out for a long time ago.
Okay, you're being screenshot right now.
Back on November 15th, 2015.
Wow.
He actually has this rotating sphere. Watch what he does to demonstrate the Coriolis effect isn't real. Watch what he does. Where he's actually rotating it. This is his proof that Coriolis is fake. Give him a second. He's still talking endlessly. Coming up.
Nice model, though.
It scares the shit out of flat earthers.
What did he just do to prove Coriolis isn't a real effect?
Did he just stop the fucking Earth rotating?
Yes, he did. This is why I say he's intentionally strawmanning to push a narrative. He's not stupid. He's a fucking liar.
What's the white circle?
A ball that he's throwing through the Earth and showing how Coriolis is an effect because he stopped the Earth rotating.
The death of Coriolis. I might have to go and look at that. I think it's just more stupidity.
No, he knows the Coriolis effect is caused by the rotation of the Earth. So what's he do to prove Coriolis isn't a thing? In his model, he stops the Earth rotating.
Is he not?
That is intentionally dishonest.
I don't. So is the ball going through the? I don't understand what's going on here.
Yes, he's throwing it through the Earth, but he stopped the Earth to prove that Coriolis is not an effect. Right after he got done explaining how the rotation is what causes the Coriolis effect, according to our model. So then he models it, saying this proves Coriolis doesn't affect, and he stops the Earth.
Yeah, but if you were to do that, you wouldn't have it rotating to begin with, would you? If you wanted to, because it's quite obvious he stopped it. So he must. So he's obviously inconsistent if he's now claiming it's not rotating. So he clearly understands it's rotating. So I don't quite understand.
Rumpus, it's not stupidity. It's intentional dishonesty.
I really think it's stupidity.
Then you're just as dumb as he is.
Thanks, Sean.
You're welcome.
I'm sorry, but I disagree.
The question here is, we actually have to give him the benefit of the doubt here. Which is the worst position, to be really fucking dumb or to be a really fucking asshole liar? And
I would prefer he be dumb, but he's not.
Exactly. And when I'm not 100% sure about this, I'll just assume that he's as dumb as a brick. No, wait, that's no. Wait, stop. That's
before you watch the video, you're safe to say that he's just dumb. But he literally explains the Coriolis effect being caused by rotation. So then when he tries to say it doesn't work on a globe, he stops the globe.
Okay, I think I need to hear the audio for this.
I don't have the audio.
Later, I'm actually going to torture myself and actually watch the entire thing.
Oh, God, 17 minutes of it, bloody hell.
No, you don't got to watch more than past 7 minutes.
Okay.
But yeah, every iteration that he shows of the Coriolis not working on the globe, he literally stops the animation of the globe rotating.
But does he try and justify
No.
But you see, if what you're suggesting be dishonest, he wouldn't have it not rotating at the start and then obviously stopping it. I mean, obviously that's not the action of someone who's intelligent and dishonest. That's the action of someone who's just stupid.
But that's his proof that Coriolis doesn't happen on a globe, is he stopped the rotation of the globe. Right after he got done explaining that the rotation of the surface is what causes the Coriolis effect.
I'll have to look at the video.
Well, in my video, the video I covered on him, I'm convinced he's stupid because he literally was like, "Look right here," and then once he gets to this side, oh my God, it's supposed to go the other way, and he had this like the tone of his voice was like this. Oh my God, I just figured it out. I literally just I now understand what's wrong with the model. And it was a spatial recognition problem. It wasn't a problem with our model. It was a problem with the way it was presented to him. And he just didn't understand what was wrong with the way it was presented to him. And then he just represented it to everybody else. But it's probably a mixture of both. He's probably fucking stupid as fuck, but he's still fucking 10 times smarter than the average flat earther.
Really?
He's probably got third grade education. They got kindergarten education, and it's exponential.
I mean, yeah, this is what typical flat earth. I mean, there's some guy, mind of God, and there's that doctor, what's his face, who does spectroscopy and trying to prove that he's doing experiment on the Bedford levels. I think next week or coming up. They clearly are.
Okay, guys, 40 more. No, wait, 50 more seconds. 55 more seconds. Let's end this, okay? Yeah. And let's also finish the video.
Yeah.
Reality of it, and I'm not really worried about them anymore. They want to remain in their delusions, fine. So anyway, I will end this video here. Try to keep it under 20 minutes, and especially since I'm holding the camera and the drums are actually getting on my nerves too. So anyway, God bless each and every one of you. More coming. Hopefully tomorrow I will finally get at least the first video up there on the Salton Sea results. So hopefully nothing will clog my day like it's happened since then. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Hey, good to see you. Bye, guys.
Okay. Just more evidence that he is knowingly being intentionally dishonest.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go back over the Apollo 1 communications, or Apollo 11 communications from low Earth orbit. He claimed they were from the moon.
Yep. You mean the one that were actually taken on the first day when they were still in Earth orbit and hadn't fired the third stage the second time for the TLI?
Exactly. He knows what he's doing. He's not as dumb as people think he is. He is literally weaving a tale that he wants people to believe and lying to do so.
But there, at least, he had the courage to delete the video after being shown to be wrong.
Well, that's because, people actually see how he's wrong with an audience now. Back then, with these videos, look, he's only got 7,300 views on this one. He had like 15,000 on the other one.
On the other one that you showed? No, he had 50,000 on that one.
Are you sure about that?
The one you showed with the moon on the
51,000. Okay.
51,000.
But that's after 3 years. 50,000 views in 3 years. Now, when you touched on his Apollo stuff, it was like a couple days after he uploaded the video. We've not done videos on this little BS of the moon being on the surface of the Earth. We haven't done videos on the death of Coriolis video that was done 4 years ago. So he's had no reason to delete them yet. Now he probably will. Because an audience is actually seeing how dishonest he is. He has to straw man to push a narrative. That is something that's done intentionally. That's not born of stupidity.
He gets confused by the facts. He can't cope with facts.
This isn't confusion, Rumpus. This is intentionally misrepresenting a model to push a narrative.
I'll have to look at the video.
Like I said, watch the death of Coriolis video. He spends 5 minutes explaining the Coriolis effect and then pulls this shit. It is intentional.
Right. Everything about him suggests he's stupid. The things he says, the things he does, the way he presents himself, the fact he can't articulate himself properly, all the evidence points to him being very, very stupid.
Be honest with me, Rumpus. How many times have I been wrong about somebody's personality profile?
Well, I haven't been counting, so I don't know.
I can count one. I was wrong about P. Mars because I gave him the benefit of the doubt.
Oh,
because I didn't know P. Mars very well.
Right.
Thrive and Survive, I've been dealing with for 4 years.
Right. Yeah. P. Mars. Well, there's a real toss.
Anthony Riley, I've been dealing with for 3 years. Jaron, I've been dealing with for 4 years. I've got their personalities locked down.
I mean, Anthony Riley is mostly stupid, but I agree there is some compulsive lying going on as well.
Oh, he's a pathological liar.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I agree. He does, but he mixes I think he's 75% stupid, 25% liar.
It's a lot of. I don't know. I don't really want to say stupidity. I want to say Dunning-Kruger is a major role in his personality. Yeah. But he does intentionally lie in order to appear smarter.
I agree.
Do you think those guys are just doing it to try to take advantage of a trend? Like, do you think they really believe in the Earth being flat? Because I saw on Unirock's channel where they were sharing some messages passed between Nathan Oakley and I don't know who the other guy was because I wasn't paying attention to who it was going to.
Was it Chris or something?
Was it about the lighthouse? And that
the lighthouse thing.
Where he was like, "Don't fucking bring that up." It's
that was talking to Anthony.
The globe.
Yeah, that was
okay. So
wait, I think I actually have that on my PC.
And Chris, I think Chris was the one who copied that and posted it. He for some reason was able to see that conversation.
Yeah. So why would they say that if they didn't know that it was a globe?
Well, they could say on the grounds they thought it was counter evidence that wasn't helpful, but they thought they hadn't worked out a solution. I mean, sometimes we see an explanation and we can't immediately refute, and presumably they have the same attitude, but they see some piece of globe evidence and they can't think of an answer. Like, I mean, now Nathan's thought up all this bloody angle of attack bollocks that he's thought through.
But Oakley said that's perfect globe proof. That means to understand that it's actually,
it's perfect proof for a globe. Shut up talking about it. Something along those lines.
Yeah. And so it makes me feel like that group of people, him, Ranty, and Jackass Liley, I think all three of them, I think they've kind of they don't believe in the flat Earth. They just know that this is an opportunity for them to cash in a little bit, keeps them relevant.
Oakley's admitted he's in it entirely for the money. He's actually admitted that.
Yeah.
Which I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with that at all.
Yeah, that's fine.
If that's what he wants to do, he can do that.
If he wants to lie to make money, that's his choice. People are going to call him out, but he's still just lying to make money. He's already pretty well admitted that. Ranty is a bandwagoner. He will go with whatever conspiracy has got the most attention at the moment.
Yeah, he's conspiracy ass, isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, he started out with Nibiru, which totally contradicts flat Earth. Then he moved into
chemtrails and things.
Chemtrails. Okay. And then he got involved with flat Earth, and then he actually, once he realized that flat Earth and Nibiru didn't coexist, he deleted all of his Nibiru videos because it's an outdated conspiracy theory.
I mean, think about a hypothetical flat Earther that's also a Nibiru conspiracy theorist.
Well, people were making fun of him because he had Nibiru videos and flat Earth videos on his channel. So he just had to make a choice on which one was more relevant.
Oh God, I didn't actually know this. This is brilliant.
Pick your conspiracies carefully.
I mean, just the irony of this Nibiru and flat Earth videos.
Yeah,
it's the cognitive dissonance that's out there.
And like I said about Anthony, his personality profile is he loves attention, loves to be the smart boy in the room. And he likes to defend the underdog. He thinks he can defend the flat Earth no matter how easy it is to prove that it's not true, just so he can say, look, I can defend anything if I can defend this.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think he has got that element about him, yeah.
I just think he's stupid.
So do you think that if they come up with an even more stupid conspiracy theory that is incompatible with flat Earth, he will just jump?
Oh, he will absolutely jump ship.
Lizards.
No, lizards. It's boring. Let's see.
Yeah, if there's a conspiracy that's got
the squirrels are controlling everything.
If there's ever a conspiracy that's more absurd than flat Earth that is easier to debunk, Anthony will jump on that like flies on shit.
I mean, the classic absolute case of Anthony lying. I mean, I was always trying to give him the benefit of that being stupid. But that was a case where. About the height of that stuff on the Isle of Man stuff, and there is a picture of him and Ranty measuring the higher with a big tape measure, the 115 feet height of his one of his observations, and he kept on claiming, even though we got that photograph, he then kept on claiming he was still only 35 feet high on the other observation because he didn't know we'd acquired this photograph. And there's a case where he obviously had measured it, realized it was more than 35 feet, and persisted with claiming it was 35 feet. So there's an absolutely rock solid case of him lying like crazy.
Yeah, but You gotta understand, Rumpus. I pride myself on being able to read people's characters.
Totally good.
I pride myself on being able to read people's characters, and it's very rare when I'm actually wrong about somebody. And in my recent history, the only person I've been wrong about was one time with P. Mars. Quickly changed my opinion of him once that happened, but that's the only time I've ever been outright wrong about somebody.
What's your current analysis of him?
P. Mars, he's literally just a troll. He likes to cause trouble no matter where he goes.
Yeah, attention-seeking troll, absolutely. Yeah.
So I stand firmly behind my analysis of Mr. Thrive and Survive over the last 4 years. He's intentionally dishonest to make money.
I think anybody who is vaguely intelligent would realize those things you've brought up there, the particular Earthman, cannot be right. That's just stupidity. If he's a clever person trying to sell something,
you have to remember, what is the goal of the Flat Earth leadership? To milk money out of the gullible. That's their job.
Well, Riley doesn't. I don't think that's money, but he does it for attention. As I said, there's a lot of attention seeking. There's a lot of people here struggling.
You missed the key word. I said leadership. The people who are the big names in Flat Earth, the ones that your Jarens, your Bobs, your Rob Skibas, Nathan
Richie,
Thompson.
Yeah, Thompson.
Yeah, they're certainly keen on status. They're desperate for status because they don't have it in their real lives. Yeah, I agree with that completely.
But yeah, I mean, Thrive and Survive is in that crew. He's one of the original con men of Flat Earth. And he will say anything as long as it sounds like he says it in a very confident form. The gullible will follow it. And he knows that. Doesn't matter how absurd it is, the gullible will follow for it based on the confidence that he's conveying his message with.
Well, I guess you can respect his honesty about that.
Yeah, but then the honesty falls apart in the actual argumentation, both Rich here and Anthony. I mean, especially this guy, because years ago when I first started getting into this and he was talking, it's like, oh, I was associated with the Navy. I was a civilian meteorologist on an aircraft carrier. I immediately called bullshit on that.
I'm pretty sure a civilian doesn't get on a fucking aircraft.
No, there are a couple of them, but they don't have anything to do with day-to-day operations. Zero. And it took him a while before he finally admitted, oh no, I was one of the enlisted personnel in that department. And come to find out, he was a data collector and coffee bitch.
Okay, would you guys drink coffee that this guy served you?
Oh, hell no.
Nope.
Then again, I know what the coffee is like aboard ship. I wouldn't drink it anyways.
I actually don't like coffee. Can't stand the stuff.
Oh, I didn't like it either, but the 25-cent cup of coffee that I bought in the military was military grade coffee. It was darker than black, and it was one tiny little, those little mini solo cups. Yeah, that was too much. You drink that whole thing and you're good for like 13 hours.
You mean an espresso?
Worse.
But yeah, just to point out about Thrive and Survive, he's done many, many other strawman fallacies to try to push the narrative. Those are just the two blatantly obvious ones that you don't even have to think about to see where the strawman is. But every one of his videos where he actually starts drawing diagrams, there is usually a strawman there, 99% of the time.
Yeah. Well, Heat Shield just said something a moment ago in the chat that I'm trying to place the quotation. It's plausibly said it, but maybe one of you guys remembers more accurately. Apparently, Jeranism said that after being proven wrong, anyone would continue to lie to protect their income.
Yeah.
When did he say that?
It was like 2 months ago, 3 months maybe. But Jaren was trying to imply that only globe earthers do that. But he doesn't understand that, even flat earthers are required to do that.
Yeah. Well, Sean, what is that quote that I came up with that you've gotten so affectionate about?
Which one was that?
The difference between having friends and business associates.
There you go.
Okay, guys, I think I'm gonna head out.
Yeah.
We've been online for 2.5 hours. It's midnight over here.
Yep.
You have no thesis to turn in.
What?
I said you have no thesis to turn in.
I know, but I'm still getting tired, you know.
Yep.
Anyway, so we're gonna end this the good old rhetoric way. Rumpus, you start. Say what you have to say, and then please leave.
I get distressed by the state of people, and this guy is just the worst of the worst. Well, worst of the worst. Dunning-Kruger, writ large, disgrace to the human race. Right.
Thanks for joining. See you next time. Terry, it's your turn.
I didn't want to watch this guy's videos before, and I don't think I'm going to watch these guys. He's just totally out there like the rest of them.
I know. Team Skeptic.
Well, anybody that hasn't seen it already, you can go check out my debate with Nathan Thompson on my channel and on the Non Sequitur channel. Oh, and I do have I have an announcement. This Saturday, me and Conspiracy Cats are going to be playing a FIFA charity event, either on his channel, my channel, or Non-Sec. It'll be 4:30 p.m. Central, so that's 9:30 UTC. So 21:30 UTC. So yeah, tune into that. Follow my channel or his channel. We're gonna have information posted on that. Be a part of it. It's gonna be fun. We're gonna try to get a bunch of debunkers to come in and talk with the crowd and have some crowd interaction and shit like that. So
I just want to say, absolutely check out Team Skeptic's Hangout with Nathan Thompson, because that one is just hilarious.
I had a lot of fun with it. I had a lot of fun. I've been waiting for that moment with that guy, and I finally got it. And it was impromptu, and it was so perfect. I came in there. He was trying to be shitty to Godless Engineer, and Godless Engineer is a really nice guy. You know, he's going to give you your opportunity to speak.
But dramedy.
Yeah.
Okay, next one. Sean, your turn.
Oh, Thrive and Survive. Go back to selling your silver Smurf juice, because that's really the only thing you got left on you with your all. At least there's a little bit of honesty there, but still missing a whole lot of it.
Okay, Jared.
Well, interesting that Team Skeptic decided to talk about that charity live stream, because an hour and a half earlier, what do we have going on, Gio? Oh, yeah, the first episode of Canar with Damar for all the wonderful nerds out there.
Okay, last but not least, Mariah.
What's for dinner?
Okay, and with that, all I think I have to say about Flat Earthers is actually a quote from Maggie Simpson. This is indeed a disturbing universe.